Yes, people, welcome back to Transfer Watch and Chelsea's Perspective. Welcome back once again. And I say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I wholeheartedly offer whatever suits your time zone. Again, thank you very much today. We have quite a lot to talk about, but it is freestyle this evening. You ask the questions, I'll try to, address them if I can. And then maybe those people, those that are with you in the chat will also help address the question. And I do hope to have some people join me on the panel. If not, I will go solo, and I can promise you it will still be fun. So sit back, relax, and let's get into the show. Yes, people, again, welcome back to the Transfer Watch and Chelsea's Perspective. Like I said, there's quite a lot to talk about, but I will let the audience drive the show this evening. You ask the question, and I'll try to address it. And if I can, maybe someone in the chat will also help you address the question because I'm no transfer expert. I just, educate you on what based on my research and what I see out there. But we'll see. And we're hoping for some good news from the club or some of the club to see the club announce some players, but it hasn't happened. We've signed players. We've signed, I think, about two players, two goalkeepers or so. Correct me if I'm wrong. Those are signings, but those are not the signings that the fans expect from the club. They expect the club to sign players, for the first thing. And the preseason has already started, so that heightens the fans' concerns as usual as it is usually for an on-Chelsea perspective here. I will go ahead and read what I have in the chart, and I will start to bring in people in about 10 minutes into the show. I will run solo. Here we have Liam Lane says hi. Kachila just dropped in to hit the like button. I will be back with you in the morning for the Blue Morning Show. Thank you very much, and I appreciate that. Thank you for stopping by. I know we're all busy. You cannot be here all the time because, in fact, the truth is the bills don't pay themselves. Here again, we'll see a late one. Yeah, a late one. I decided to do a late one because the Blue Morning Show ended abruptly because there was an overlapping schedule. What's his name? Um, Helgi scheduled the show by mistakenly, and mistakenly scheduled it to start an hour earlier, which means I had to stop the Blue Money show to help engineer this because he's still learning how to use the software and all that. 1 second, again, let me see. Here it says, all sports fan Adam. Adam, welcome to the channel. I think this is the first time I'm seeing you here. So please, if you haven't, please drop a like on the video and also do subscribe to the channel. Here he says, I am sick to death of Chelsea being alternate second choices. What is going on? So Raphinha has a poster of Ronaldinho in his bedroom. What? Raf? In his Ronaldinho in his bedroom. He goes hard for, and now others ways of us. We should be at the top. Here's the thing. The poster of Ronaldinho in his bedroom doesn't mean that is doesn't change anything. I think we've talked about that on this show on Chelsea perspective. The fact is now people are concerned that Chelsea is his second choice. Should it come to Chelsea that he will not give his best, his mind will always be set on going to Barcelona. Even if that's the case, yes. Like I said, he is a professional. If he ends up not going to Barcelona and we sign him, he plays for us. Even 2 years he wants to join them, then they pay us the money, the sign-on fee, because they won't get him on the free. It's as simple as that. And he will, he will not come to us and then be really bad. If that happens, it's going to affect his chances to play in the World Cup with Brazil. So those things you have to consider those things. And yeah, players do have clubs that they prefer. Players do have, you could say, you could say retired professional footballers whom they look up to. In this case, it is Ronaldinho. That don't matter to me. And again, if he comes to us, I will support him no matter what I've heard. And people, always reference Lukaku's case. Lukaku's case is very different. For some factors, I believe we all know about his second stint at Chelsea just didn't work. So just calm down. I still believe everything will be fine and we will sign players. And please, if you haven't, please keep liking the video. It is free. It takes a second to like the video. And the more you like the video, the more we'll be able to reach. And here's my brother Nick Blue. He says, Coachella, evening, ladies and gentlemen, and to our support super host, Coachella himself, you're a super brother. And I've grown to know that you're a nice person. Thank you very much, Nick. Nice to see you here. And please be sure, keep liking the video, please. Here of people's list. Yeah, I get your point. Coach, you said, yeah, in a bit, I will send the link in about 15 minutes, or let's say 15 minutes into the show. So says, good afternoon to you, Chama Keki Melo. I hope you're doing well. Nice to see you here. It's been a while. Says, we don't want another Lukaku. Yeah, the fact that, what's his name? Raphinha supports, the fact that Ronaldinho is his idol or he loves Ronaldinho, that doesn't mean he will be another Lukaku. The truth remains he's a better player overall. That's more technically gifted than Lukaku, but they don't play in the same position. Again, I don't think he will be the same. Lukaku's case, whenever I talk about Lukaku's case, I do, I don't just blame Lukaku himself. That his second stint at Chelsea didn't work. I don't blame him. I blame Thomas Tuchel. I blame the scout. I blame the board. Why? Because looking at things from the perspective of the scout, who looked at Lukaku and said, "Okay, we created a lot of chances this past season. The only thing we didn't do was score goals." And then said, "Boom, Lukaku will solve that problem for us." It just doesn't make sense. Forgetting that you had a team that had more fluidity in the attacking area. All they created quite a lot of chances, but didn't score more goals. And you bring in a traditional striker, which means now you're inserting a point of reference in terms of goal scoring into the team, which means again, again, you can see an example of why Lukaku created more problem than he was able to solve for us. Is that games he didn't play, we created more chances and we scored more chances when he got injured. But again, there are other factors also. And I've also argued there's no way that the club, would sign Lukaku without Thomas Tuchel saying, okay, it will work. So I think I don't like the reference. Usually people saying, putting in as if it was all Lukaku's fault. I don't think it is. There are other things that also happened that didn't help his second stint at Chelsea. But that's by the way. And here, all sport fans, Adam says, "What about Ronaldo, bro? I heard he wants to join, but United wouldn't sell to a direct rival." Again, the case of Ronaldo. Let's really talk about it. The fact is this: we've heard what's his name? Todd Bowley talk about being. I think it says what term did he use it? He said commercial. That is for the club to be commercially viable. You need such names as Ronaldinho, which means he wouldn't mind paying the salary as long as it increases the club's commercial viability, if that's even a term. But I think that's correct. Again, he may well be looking at him, and there's a chance it is the truth that he indeed spoke with him in his camp, trying to see if he can bring him to the club. Again, thank you very much for all those that are watching right now. Right now, we have just 29 people watching, and we have 12 likes. Please keep liking the videos, because the more you like the video, the more the YouTube algorithm will be triggered, and the more people will be reached who would be interested in this particular topic, and the more they will join us, and the more fun it will be. If you haven't liked the video, and also do subscribe to the channel. He says, I just wouldn't want to sign Raphinha if he says he wants to go to Barcelona within a year or two. It's a project here we need to build. Again, your argument makes a perfect sense, but there's a chance he comes to Chelsea and decides this is my place. Because I was reading a tweet thread where people are saying, well, asking the questions where Barcelona, how they're getting all this money. Some say they're literally, getting another loan to pay a loan. But again, the truth is they'll be fine in around 5 years. But that's, by the way, the response I want to talk about was the response from Dan, my friend, who said, don't worry about it. It will come back to bite them in the future, and that's just the truth. So this plays, it don't seem like they're looking beyond Barcelona's history, rich history. They don't look beyond that. They don't care whether they're struggling financially or not. I don't know how they're able to convince them to come to them, not minding the fact that the financially there's a chance in a few years they'd be struggling to pay them their salaries. So that's how where I'm surprised. So again, there's a chance he comes to Chelsea, and then in a year or two, he sees Barcelona continues a struggle financially and says, you know what, I'm staying here. Because I don't think he will come to Chelsea and intention and not be a professional. That won't help his career, by the way. So, but that's by the way. And here, again, all sports fan Adam says, I wish we went up for our second option, Richarlison. Now, Spurs have him. I feel enraged by the window so far. Again, I was surprised we didn't go for him because I heard Thomas Tuchel wanted him. Do I like Richarlison as a player? I'd say no. But here's what happened. Again, what I like about him is his fight. Whenever he's on the pitch, you'd see that fight in him. To me, I'd say he's not the most technically gifted. He's, again, if Thomas Tuchel wanted him and we didn't get him, it is then for a reason. Maybe they decided to look elsewhere and not get him. Nick here says, yes, people, please keep subscribing if you haven't, and also keep liking the video. Now we have 16 likes, we'll have 39 people watching. I know we can do better than that. I am a big Chelsea fan, man. Since I was 7, we had Ed the Goy and Gallus and Zena Dan. That's a name I haven't talked about for a while. Then, man, I bleed blue like you all. Thank you very much. Nice to see you here, and I'm happy to hear that you bleed a blue. More importantly, welcome to the channel. Feel at home. Express yourself. The only thing we do here is just we keep it civil. Again, thank you very much. You're welcome to the channel. And King Slayer CFC says, bigger people change my handle. I see that. I see that. I see that. Okay, it's shorter now. Maxwell Cornet has a 17. Yeah. I think when I saw that name pop up, I think I did a bit of research about him. I think he's you could say he's a fine finisher, but then again, you can't judge by just one scene. Clips of videos where the player put away chances very well. Again, I haven't watched him in a full game to say, okay, this is what he's capable of doing. Maxwell Cornet has a 17.5 million pounds release clause because Burnley got relegated. He is a Chelsea Drogba fan. We'll see what happens. Lukaku was, but we'll see what happens. I believe Lukaku was genuine when he came. That's the truth. That's a chance. That's the truth. And I think you and I have talked about this before. And when we talked about it, and even one of those videos I made, I think I talked about how a teenage Lukaku visited Stamford Bridge, and he was, you could see the happiness that is on his face, the way he spoke, how he loved the stadium, how he wanted to play for the club, and all of that. But under Thomas Tuchel, it simply hasn't worked. If we had a manager, a more pragmatic manager, or a more direct manager, such as Jose Mourinho, or if you could argue, what's his name, Antonio Conte, I think he'd do well under them. But under Thomas Tuchel, I don't think it will work. It was a big mistake. I don't know if the club was even paying attention to how Olivier Giroud left the club, to how Tammy Abraham left the club, to Thomas Tuchel's history at the club he's coached before. Richarlison is like a terrier. He hassles and harries constantly. I think he'd have a suited system. My argument is he's the only thing, again, I like about him. If we signed him and he proved me wrong, I'd be happy. Because one thing more importantly I like from players is the spirit. I want to see you show that you like donning the blue shirt, and I think we'd get that from him. Why we abandon the effort to sign him and then at the end tried to hijack it, I just don't know. Let's get a Ronaldo. If we're getting him, it will be for business reasons, not really. Again, his abilities are still there, and maybe he'd do well under Thomas Tuchel. But the truth is, he comes with a lot of baggage. I think it will not be easy to handle, and it remains to be seen whether Thomas Tuchel will okay that, even if the owner wants that. Yes, a true blue. I agree. Yeah, that's the truth. Kingslayer FC, thank God. Yep, says bring Cornet to the club, scoring 9 goals in that Burnley team, and have that impact is impressive. It is indeed, because you could argue they created less chances than we did. So for him to have scored that 9 goals in a Burnley team that created less chances at Chelsea Football Club, I think that's good. You could say that that's good. Yep. Yeah, the name change is what's been talked about. Ronaldo asks to leave, and instantly he wants Chelsea. Again, it's easy to say, to manufacture the story that Ronaldo wants to come to Chelsea, because there were rumors that Thomas Tuchel spoke with had a meeting with his agent and wanted to bring him to the club, but United refused to sell him. There's no way to confirm whether that's the truth or not. Lukaku was never genuine. Let's be honest. Against Roller Arbor, that's how you see it. But the truth is, it just didn't it just didn't work under Thomas Tuchel, and will never work, because Thomas Tuchel said clearly that he's not willing to tweak the system to accommodate a single player. I am for that, but what usually I don't understand why people always blame Lukaku for how things gone, for how the way things went during his second stint at Chelsea Football Club. And if you look back, actually, his numbers aren't bad. I think he's our top scorer. Correct me if I'm wrong. But that's, by the way, the truth is we expected him to score more goals given how much we paid for him. Still no signings yet, but I do believe that the club is well and truly hard at work behind the scenes, and we're able to hear about some of them. And hopefully we'll get to announce Raheem Sterling very soon. And De Ligt, who is one of the players that I think True Blue have always called for the club to sign, and he will make a good signing for us. Osprey's fan says some people think it was a hoax. He was a Chelsea fan as a kid, and Lukaku was set a task to ruin big English club. It's a conspiracy. All right, maybe we need a psychologist at the club for confidence. Yeah, it's a conspiracy. Again, some clubs do have psychologists at their clubs. I'm surprised. You sure we don't have one at the club? I think we do. But that makes sense. That's a very funny, conspiracy indeed. Broja shouldn't leave. Unfortunately, there's a chance he leaves. Forget all the yada yada in public, where you hear him. Thomas Tuchel say he'd want to look at him during the preseason. It may well just be a mere formality. If he gets a chance to sell, to get in the player he wants and let go Broja, I think he would. But I'd say give him a chance, even though I've come to, it's clear. We've learned over time that Thomas Tuchel doesn't really make good use of traditional number nines. And you could say Broja is a traditional number 9, but I do believe, given his age, with time, I think it will be easy for him to adapt, to even play as a false 9, because I think he can play on the flanks too, as a winger too. So that makes him a hybrid number 9, if you ask me. And he's good on the ball too, but that's by the way. Says that Lukaku's heart was never with Chelsea. Again, he's been flirting with Inter since day one. That's where I'm concerned. And his interview, even after he left Chelsea, is even more concerning. But I don't blame him for calling for the club to try and sign Ziyech. And I don't, him saying that he's been speaking to, what's his name? Was it Inzaghi, the Inter coach, all the while? That just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't help his case in terms of him, having a good relationship with the Chelsea fans. But I get your argument. Big up Glenn. Glenn, I haven't seen you in a while. I hope you're good and good to see you again. And Tosin Musa, I'm guessing you're my brother from Nigeria. He says, I'm beginning to understand the transfer business Todd and Tuchel are running. we can afford to rush. Do you mean we cannot afford to rush into the market and panic buys and all that? It might be a good deal if we get Dembele for free after Sterling again. Getting Dembele again will never be easy. And big up to you, the queen of the house. Nice to see you here. I do hope you're doing well. I am happy that you found time to be with us this evening. Again, if you haven't, please keep liking the video. We have 20 likes. Let's shoot for at least 100 likes by the end of the show. If you haven't, take a second to like the video. It is free. If anybody asks you to pay, tell them Just Viola, the queen of the house, had already paid for you. True Talk, True Blue says Ronaldo would cost 27 million a year in wages. Not a good deal indeed. That's not a good deal. So it wouldn't even make sense given that amount of money for his salary. Hi, everyone in the chat. Again, I'm going to skip everything and let me see. Share the link with the people that wants, participate in the stream. Again, 1 second, Ty. I see you backstage. I will add you in a bit. There you go. Also, Ty, it is freestyle this evening. The discussion will not be structured. The people in the chat will drive the conversation. But do you have any update for us?
So, three things. I know some people may not like this news, but if the situation appears to go the way that it is believed to go with Dembele or Raphinha or both, then the club will be looking at three players that were recently in the Premier League and one player that is still in the Premier League. And one of the ones is Saint Maximin. It's one that I know a lot of people probably don't want because I think, in terms of his finishing, it's not really.
How old is he right now?
I think he's 26. He's supposed to be the same age as Werner is. I think 26. So he's 2 years away from his prime. But I think, the one thing that may not be entertaining really is the fact that he's not really clinical in terms of finishing. He likes to dribble, he likes to do trickery and try to.
So sometimes unnecessarily.
Yeah, and he likes to do type of things that are probably not necessary. I mean, he's one of the options. There's two other ones that I can say. Maxwell Cornet, that there was a news that came out about that. Maxwell Cornet, he has some versatility, or at least at Burnley, that's what they did with him.
And how old is Maxwell? I think some all sports fan Adam did say something about Maxwell Cornet. How old is he?
Let me quickly check. I think he's supposed to be 25 actually.
But go ahead. I'll check that for you in a bit.
25, yeah, 25. And so he's another option that's being assessed. I think that right now these names, based on judging them on book, I think it's just showing desperation from the club, honestly, because I think there's only so much you could actually go and say that there's this player right here. I mean, there's another player as well, Ruben Neves. We've been linked with him for seasons after seasons. And you obviously had that big injury, so I think the club were probably taking a step back in terms of probably looking at him at the very moment as a first choice in terms of an alternative to Raphinha or Dembele. So I think in that sense there are options they're looking at. It's just about, are those options going to really come in and do the job if they're in some way convinced to join the club. I think it's down to the fact that they know that certain players don't suit what Tuchel wants to do, and there's only so much players you can actually find that can actually benefit the way that he plays. And I mean that's unfortunate. And people always say that they think Tuchel needs to alter certain things because we have good players at the club, but because of the way that he demands these players play, it allows them to not really be at their best. And I know somebody in particular will say Ziyech, and Ziyech is somebody it's unfortunate with him because I think you can see there's a good player in Ziyech. It's just that the way that he plays, it's not going to suit what Tuchel wants, in particular a back three. And yes, people say we could switch formations, but I don't think we're gonna just get rid of the back three formation completely and forget about our system. I think it could be both, depending on the players that we bring in. And I think it always goes back to versatility and bringing in players that are versatile, that can play on as a centre back and as a full back. I think that's the thing. But it's unfortunate with this situation. And, this is why weeks ago I was saying that it's best that the club try to get their business done secretly, so that situations like this doesn't come out and then they end up being embarrassed, or it looks embarrassing for them, especially with the Raphinha situation. So it's unfortunate that this is the case, but if it does go in that direction, they are looking at players. It's just about, will these players be as appealing as probably people look at Raphinha or Dembele?
Yeah, I think you make a very good, again. That's a very good update from you, and I appreciate you taking the time to update us. And now I want us to talk about Dembele also. There's something I sent to you to your inbox again that it doesn't make sense. All the nonsense that we've made him an offer before. Some say we've signed him already. He signed 5-year deal with Chelsea. Turns out again, it sounds like all those were all bullocks. I'm going to try and catch up with the chat, and I'll come back to Nick. Maybe he has an update for us. Maybe he finds out. Maybe Lewandowski is coming, which I know if that happens, Nick will buy an airplane and ship it to me right away. But that's by the way. Let me catch up here. And Liam Lane here, he never see Glenn, so to speak. Glenn, like I like to call him. He said, we have a saying in our country: we meet 3 times in a day. We have to go get a drink a second time already. Again, I'd like that to happen, and I hope to one day meet up, because I'd like to see. I haven't all my life. I've been a Chelsea fan for a while, and I haven't, been to Stamford Bridge. Even though in most cases when I travel, I do pass. I do stop over at that's the airport. What's it called again? Heathrow Airport on occasions, which if I wanted, I could say, okay, slip over in the UK and then go see a game or two. But maybe because it hasn't happened at times where Chelsea have games, but I think that will happen in no distant time. Let me just face it that way. Thank you, Glenn, for that. And Tosin Musa says, hello, guys. Hello to you too, Tosin. And Nick Blue says, I think the media made it worse for Lukaku. They made the Chelsea fans hate him too much. And some Chelsea fans believe everything from these journalists. And Lukaku himself, let me complete that sentence for you, didn't help his case. That's, by the way, hi, True Blue says, the Queen of the House, hey, Zasvialo says, evening, Glenn. Yes, Glenn, evening to you. And says, hi, True Blue, and says, we basically have no choice now but to bring a Broye in. Even if we get a striker now, we will still need another striker for squad depth. Again, the question with what my concern about Broya is this: would he want to come back and just be a bit part player and then be a bench warmer? He's been out there. Again, you could say he wasn't prolific, but at least he was good enough that even Southampton want to keep him. I think West Ham are looking at him, Napoli are looking at him, and a couple of other clubs. He's aware that there are no shortage of buyers for him, and you expect him to come back and just be part of the squad, and he gets to sit on the bench every now and then. And something, I love Thomas Tuchel, but there's something he does that annoys me. He always has favorites, and squad rotation, when in areas where he has favorites, squad rotation isn't for that area. He will keep playing that favorite player until maybe they broke an arm and a leg before he brings in, the alternate player, if you want to phrase it like that. But I hope you get my point. Again, but that's, by the way, I am here most of the time, Coach. Cannot always type, mostly walking and listening at the same time. Try to miss a few as possible, brother. Again, I thank you very much for all the support. I appreciate that, Glenn. You're a legend. And all the Chelsea Perspective supporters are all legends. I cannot thank you all for all the love that you've shown this channel and how fast we're growing. Now we're at 77 people. We have 77 people watching, and we still have just 26 likes. Please, wherever you're watching from, do me a tiny bitty favor. just take a second and like the video. That will go a long way for the channel. And let me put it this way again, like I usually say, I'd rather you like the video than you donate to the channel, because the likes do more for the channel than you donating your hard-earned cash. Again, please just take a second and like the video. Mabila 100 say this: Chelsea signing Kounde. We don't know yet. We're not sure what's going on, but we will talk about that in a bit. Again, says the story I have read is Giroud has talked to AC Milan about Ziyech. Yeah, I saw that one too, because he knows what the magician is capable of doing. With him, he'd get a lot of those services. Sorry?
Yes. I can't believe I didn't mention that as well. Because that you know, you said something about the magician. You know, that is something that, you know, would benefit them, benefit AC Milan as well. They get in a player like him. You know, he's able to cross, and when they do play Giroud is good at scoring headers, so that would be a good partnership there. And I mean, the few times that they actually played together, they actually, you know, had a good connection. So that makes sense.
And again, one thing about I always like talking about the pace of Hakim Ziyech's passes. The pace of his passes. He had so much passes, the pace to his passes, that before the opposition defense knows what's going on, the ball gets to its intended destination. He's that good, but unfortunately, it hasn't really worked for him at Chelsea. But I'm still sensing that's a chance he stays. If we don't get Raphinha, I think he stays, because it all comes down whether the club will allow him to go. But we see what happens. That's, by the way, Nick, I'm going to come to you. You've been quiet for a bit. Nick, let us know, do you have any update for us?
Yeah, well, we all know about Sterling. You know, that's done. Probably Monday we're going to get the confirmation from Chelsea. They always do it on Mondays usually. Yeah, Ziyech, you know, there's still a big chance he can stay, because I don't see Raphinha coming now. We give him the time, and the time's run out. You know, we're not begging any player. We said this before, and Bowley said it. You've got 48 hours.
It looks like his connection is going in and out. It's not stable. Are you still there? Yeah, go ahead. Okay, the silence is killing me. Nick, are you still?
Yeah, I'm here, but I have to move to another room. Because
okay, no problem. Again, let me try and catch up with the chat while you do that. Anything here? My brother Steve Chelsea, how are you doing, brother? I haven't seen you in a while. And he says he has smashed that like button. Yes, people smash the like button. We have just 28 likes while we have 70 plus people watching, so we can do better than that. Please keep liking the video. Nick is everywhere. He's in the chat, and also he's on the panel. That's good to see. Again, big up. Maybe he teleports himself to wherever he wants to be. Anything here to address?
I'll my charger.
Sorry, go ahead.
I have to go in the shed. Quick, please. Hurry up, I'm on the channel.
Oh, shut up.
Quick.
All right. This one, Vincent here says, does anyone think Lukaku and Inter defrauded Chelsea? Again, no, that's absolute nonsense. Why do I say that? When I say absolute nonsense, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the theory that Inter and Lukaku defrauded Chelsea. I think it just doesn't make sense. It was Chelsea that went for Lukaku. They wanted Lukaku, and they paid how much they were asked to pay. So you don't blame Inter Milan for any of those things. Again, even for the loan, I wouldn't say they defrauded Chelsea. It just doesn't make sense. If Lukaku came to Chelsea and started, and replicated his Inter form, we wouldn't be talking about him. And again, like I said before, I don't blame him entirely for how things went during his second stint at Chelsea. Ty, it looked like you were saying something.
Yeah, I was saying something. I'm saying that blame Lukaku for some parts of it, and also because I think it's both parties. Because I think, in a sense, Lukaku.
Okay, Ty seems a bit busy here. I'll keep talking with you until he comes back. And again, family first. Hi, gentlemen. I humbly request that we sign Anika Williams from Atletico Bilbao as a striker of note to combine with Sterling. And bro, you educate us even more. And Nico, you're talking about, is he a traditional striker or is he a hybrid striker? Because I wouldn't advocate to sign even the best striker in the world, the best traditional striker in the world for Thomas Tuchel, and I have my reasons. I don't know him too well. That's why I'm asking you to educate us very well. And here Glenn says, I think the Lukaku thing will stick for a while, but if you really, deep in, we had so much bad luck from the transfer ban to the Frank saga to winning the Champions League and sanctions. It's actually mad. Yeah, it's how else do I phrase it to better define it than you've done here? It was crazy. It doesn't take a lot to trigger fans in that case. Chelsea fans, again, it's a tradition to always turn on players when they do well. Surprisingly, I wouldn't say surprisingly, because Timo Werner's case is different. Even when he's not doing well, he'd give 100% plus. In the case of Lukaku, there were times it just seemed as if the whole thing started weighing on him, of which I don't blame him. He's a human being. And when that happens, again, I don't blame him for that. I read about Dembele on Mundo Deportivo a little while back. What a serious one. Yeah, serious one indeed. Jesus, Bissouma, Richarlison, Raphinha, Dembele, Sterling. That's such a very smart way to express yourself there, not say too much. And I understand the X and the time loading. I agreed for live 4 days and no progress still of an announcement. Yeah, I understand that. Neymar, massive. Ronaldo. Yeah, that's creativity at its peak. Again, we cannot afford panic buys. Again, that's why you have to give them time. That's why we have to be patient. I think they know what they're doing. And Todd Bowley, as he's always said, he's not going to throw money at problems. He's going to be strategic with the spending. And I think the good thing is that in the end, they're trying to bring in players that Thomas Tuchel wants. Again, that's the most important thing. What if Inter told Lukaku, we need you to join Chelsea because we need the money, then told him you can come back in the year? No. Come on, Vincent. Please don't do this to me. You're going to fry my brain trying to wrap
that
around.
Is not true. That is not true. That's what I was trying to say. That's what I was trying to say. That's too far. I'm hearing a lot of people say this now, and I can understand why. But the thing is, blame Lukaku. I don't blame Inter Milan. Inter Milan did not offer him a contract, and I keep saying this up until the moment where they said that they can't extend with him because of their financial issues. He said he's not coming to Chelsea. Right after the Euros ended, because I remember it ended in July, somewhere along in July or something like that. It was said that by him on a podcast, it's a recording podcast, like you could see him speaking, so it's not like you heard voices. You saw him, and then he was smiling when they asked him about, so Chelsea are interested in you. What do you think about that? You grew up a Chelsea fan. I was like, yeah, I grew up a Chelsea fan, but Inter Milan have done so many good things for me. I'm not going to leave Inter Milan. Inter Milan is my home. And he said that. And then, boom, 3 days after that, the news comes out about him not getting an extension. Then August comes along, and then, the news start to build up again that Lukaku is close to Chelsea. I think this personally, and I think we've already established this, no club that he was hoping for him came in for him. And because he saw that the only club that was really open to him and were in need of a striker per se that could score goals, he decided to go there. And considering the fact that his then agent said was at the Champions League final discussing with Roman Abramovich, because he wanted to bring him back at the club. So he encouraged Lukaku to come back for a second time. He definitely fired him when he wanted him to stay. So the only positive person regarding this Lukaku situation was his agent, because his agent was pushing him to stay and saying, "Don't give up after one season." And something that really comes back to my head is that earlier of last season, I kept hearing his agent say that when he was saying that Lukaku wants to go back to Italy eventually. That is something key, eventually. But for right now, this is time for Chelsea to enjoy him. And then that was in November. December comes around, that interview pops up, and then everything goes sour. So that is why, for me, I have to say that yes, there's certain underlying issues
Mm-hmm.
surrounding why it didn't work out, but at the same time, I don't think Lukaku was as willing as he was saying he was to work under Tuchel, because if he did, maybe you could see indications. The only time you saw that he was trying to work is in the latter stage of the season, and that is for to impress the new owners or the potential new owners, and trying to force his way out. But the moment he's trying to speak to his ex, or no, well, no, they're going to be his current teammates, that in itself just tells you that the player did not
Yeah.
want to be at the club, long term, or to say that the season didn't work out for me. Let me try next season. That's
Mm.
was not the case. So for me, Lukaku has done something worse than Kurtzwa has done. I mean, I don't know why these Belgian players love to do these things to us. If it's not Kurtzwa, it's Hazard. It's not Hazard, it's
Again,
Lukaku.
if you remember, I said Lukaku himself didn't help matters, and that's, by the way. Welcome to Everton fan, an Everton fan to the channel. Rico is 63. Rico, you're very welcome. Feel at home here, and by the way, do subscribe, because we've been launching a sister channel that covers all the club, and that will be covering the World Cup. So you want to be part of that. If you're subscribed here, you will know. And thank you. Welcome to the channel. Ty, go ahead so I can bring in Nick to express, say
Yeah,
what he
so
was
I mean,
saying.
yeah. So with all of that, I think yes, yes, Tuchel made it public that he's not going to change the way he plays just for one player, and that's understandable, because you can use the fact that without using Giroud and Tammy Abraham as much. Well, he didn't use Tammy Abraham in the Champions League at all. He never used him. Well, Giroud played against Porto. That's the only time he used a
Mm-hmm.
false nine system, and he was able to beat Atletico Madrid, and then he went on to Porto, and then he went on to to be Man City in the final. So I think in that sense, you'll say that why do I have to change my system that was win us game? We won Liverpool 1-0. And that was using our false nine system. So I don't think that in that sense, it's fair to say that he should have changed everything just for that one player. Yes, he probably could have tweaked something, because Tuchel is a
Yeah.
mastermind when it
Let's
comes on
not
to
go
the.
too let's not go too
Yeah.
deep into it, because we're here to talk transfers. But I get your point.
Oh, by the way, let
You,
me quickly say
mm,
this: Lampard finally got his player. He wanted Tarkowski at Chelsea. Now he has him at a blue team, Everton.
hmm. Hmm. Yeah, it's a good reunion right there. Congratulations to him. I hope he does well. And I'm saying that just because I have an Everton fan in the chat. Nick, welcome back in. You were saying something before. I think we had a bad connection, or family code or something like that.
Yeah, no, I had to move places. Yeah,
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 just
I'm
an
back. It's
update.
okay.
Update for us. Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's not many updates really. You know all the updates. Sterling is done. He'll be announced. I think Monday he'll be announced. And we're still looking at Dembele, Koulibaly. We're still talking with his agent. And who else? Kounde. We're still talking with his agents. And yeah. So we know what's going on. I'm not worried at all. Someone earlier on asked me on the platform, "Are you worried about because we're not signing players?" I said, "No, I'm not worried. I'm not worried one bit, because I know in the end, we in the end, even if we don't get the players we really want, we still have great players at this club.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong. These players,
No, I'm
Ziyech,
not getting you
Pulisic,
wrong. I believe you.
yeah, we do. And we finish in the top four with these players, don't forget, and we won the Champions League with these players. So, we still
Now
have a
you're
team.
sounding like Emanalo.
Yeah, and we still have a team, but we will get these signings in. It's just because we're behind with everything. Like we said it a million times. All the club, Tottenham, Arsenal, Liverpool, they all been planning these signings when we were sanctioned. So that's why. but I'm not worried. I still predict we're going to get closer to City next season. We're not winning the league, but the following season we will win the league. That's my prediction. And I'll tell you, like I told the other guy, post it, because that's what's going to happen. That's how confident I am with my team. You know, so people are worried too much. Well, we're not doing this, we're not doing that. You know, of course we will. This is Chelsea FC, the biggest club in Europe. If you know, one of the biggest in Europe for sure. And don't forget, we're world champions. You said it yourself. We're world champions for a reason. So, you know, don't never doubt your team, like some of these fans are, because they're getting worried we're not getting any signings in. It makes me laugh when I hear them. Yeah. So it's no big update right now. Of course, Barcelona, you know, they haven't got the money and they're keeping all these players waiting. What looks like for sure, try and put your mic on mute.
Nick, go ahead. His mic is on mute already.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I thought that was a sound coming. Yeah, so we shouldn't be worried. I was going to say something else. Yeah, and like you said, with Tuchel, you know, you mentioned Tuchel before. Yeah, he has favorite players. Look at the time when Mendy was making mistake after mistake after mistake. He even cost us the Champions League, and he wouldn't put him on the bench just to calm him, just to get his brain right, and put Kepa on. That was the biggest mistake Tuchel did last season. Of course, that's a big mistake, you know, and I'll never forgive him. I won't forgive him for that. But, you know, everything else, he done miracles, of course. He won us 2 trophies, but it could have been better, and he shouldn't have favoritism with some players like he does, because he does. He does with Mount. He does it with he's not playing as, you know, when Mount wasn't doing it, and he still put Mount, Havertz, and Lukaku was on the bench, and he still played these 3 players. They still couldn't score, but he wouldn't change them. He wouldn't bring them off. He brought Lukaku. I remember he brought Lukaku. He took them off, and he brought Lukaku with 20 minutes to go, 15 minutes to go, and yet all the fans expected Lukaku to get some goals in 15 minutes. That's a lot of rubbish. Lukaku, all right, he did wrong. You know, he did very wrong, but you can't blame just Lukaku. It was Tuchel's fault as well, and the players around him. It wasn't just Lukaku. You know, that's the truth. That's what I want to say about Lukaku. We should stop talking about Lukaku, really, because he's gone now. But he's gone, but he's still our player. So it's a funny situation. And yeah, that's what I want to say mainly. Yeah, go on, Coach.
Can I quickly say something that I saw?
Yeah, go on, sir.
Go ahead, Ty.
I sent it to you as well, Coach.
Yeah, go ahead. I see
it. Yeah,
go ahead.
you
talk about it. Yeah, you talk about it.
Yeah, this is hilarious. I mean, of all the people. Wait, by the way, where does Raheem Sterling live in Manchester?
He should.
So what is Trent going to Manchester City then? Is he going to Manchester City then? Because I mean, why is he selling his house to I mean, Trent grew up a Manchester City fan, so I'm not surprised. And also Everton fan, so I'm not surprised. But I'm just shocked that, you know, it looks like as if he is really
something isn't quite right there. So why would Trent Alexander-Arnold be buying it, or maybe is he still going to training from Merseyside?
Honestly, that's weird.
Yeah, so this tweet here just doesn't make sense.
I don't trust Mirror either. I don't trust Mirror.
Except if Trent is buying it as just for an investment. Because Trent isn't going to Manchester City. That's the question you ask, right? So this tweet here just doesn't make sense. Sometimes it's important to pay attention to what you're looking at. And we're not. I don't think Liverpool would sell Trent Alexander-Arnold, especially to Manchester City.
That's all false rumors again, Coach.
Yeah. So
you know, I just saw it now. I was wondering what Ty was talking about. I just see the tweet. Yeah, that's all rumors. Like we get every single day, every minute of the day, rumors and journalists trying to be clever and they don't know what they're talking about. They don't know nothing.
Well, then again, I mean, a lot of the Liverpool players do live in Manchester, so I can understand
Yeah,
that. But you never know. Maybe he actually lives. Maybe Trent lives in
It's a
Manchester.
possibility. It's a
Yeah,
possibility.
maybe.
But let me quickly catch up with the chat because this is supposed to be a Q&A. We answer
Yeah.
questions the fans ask. But Ty, if you want to add anything to this update you have for us, go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
with Raheem Sterling, this deal, it looks as if Sterling is persisting with the move. It really does look like it is. But I mean, you never know. Trent could be living in Manchester and he just wants to upgrade.
Yeah, Ty, it looks like you have something to take care of there. So now back, I'm going to do apologies to the chat because this was supposed to be a Q&A session, and apologies for I haven't abandoned you for a while. Right now, we have 88 people watching when we have just 37 likes. Come on, people, like the video. It takes just a second. It won't cost you anything. Please do help the channel grow, and you can do that by just liking the video. The more likes we get, the more the YouTube algorithm will be triggered, and more people will be able to reach, and the more fun it will be, by the way. Now, I wanted to start the stream by reading this by Simon Phillips, where he says, I've been very patient and I'm still patient, but Chelsea need to start getting a couple of these deals off the line. Very important. Now, I think we're all concerned. Again, some people are getting concerned. I'm not, for me, I'm still very patient. Unlike him, in some aspects, I'm just concerned, but I understand how, things, have been since the sanctions, since the restrictions on the club, the restrictions that stopped us from, signing players and getting them to put pen to paper. So I am really not concerned as much as he is. But that's, by the way, I'm going to move ahead, try and catch up with the chat right now because I've left them hanging for a while. Let's see what brilliant comments they have there for us. And here is True Blue still talking about Hakim Ziyech. He says AC Milan have also signed Origi to plenty of targets for Ziyech, and I'll start watching Italian football again. Again, it makes sense. I think he's a fine creator. Unfortunately, I think we haven't used him to his strength. Like I've always said, he's a specialty player, so you need to use him where you get the best out of him. Lusala, Lukaku, and again, this is a delicious comment right there. Not because I love Ziyech, but because it is a fact of the truth. Lusala says, if Chelsea will sign 6 players, then US store is useless as most participants will leave the club. Again, like I said, there's a chance Ziyech may not still leave because if the club isn't sure of his replacement, they're not going to let him go. Yes, Ziyech, like I've argued even before we heard that Ziyech wants to leave. I've argued on this show, on this panel, and I think the only person that I think some people agreed with me, I think True Blue also did agree with me, that Ziyech will be looking to leave because he wasn't treated fairly by Thomas Tuchel, and I'll make that argument, and I don't think there's anyone that will beat me to that, and I'll explain if you want me to, but that's by the way. Yes, that's the 5th time I have seen that graphic. Which one are you talking about? You let me know. I say, imagine Tuchel selling Ziyech and buying a Sterling. Ziyech is better than Sterling defensively. We've seen that of late. He's improved physically. His defensive contributions to the team have also improved. Again, I don't want to start talking about how, surprisingly, even after those performances, he got dropped to the bench for no just reasons. Because I'm going to get annoyed talking about it, and I don't want to do that. Who knows how the system would suit Sterling and Dembele? We've asked that question, and we did ask that question this morning, bringing him in and playing him as one of the 2 who play 3 at the back. How is he going to work? And I think it was my brother, IBZ, that argued about the inversion and all of that. And I told him, remember, when we play 3 at the back, the wing backs become the wingers. So the spaces that they operate, they utilize that spaces on the flanks from the back line to the forward line. So the 2-8 are. And it doesn't look like the way Thomas Tuchel approached the games. It doesn't like he gives them the freedom to roam because naturally when you keep Ziyech there, you always find him on the flanks. But that's, by the way, that's another discussion for another day. again, I want him to leave, and I knew he was gonna, even if the club wants to keep him, he may want to leave the club, and I think that's the case now. So I'll be looking for questions to answer. If you have any question, place it in there, and we'll try to answer it. Lampard wants Gallagher. I don't think he will get Gallagher. Maybe there's a chance he gets Billy Gilmore because he likes him too. But it remains to be seen. And he can only get one player from us. I don't think we'll give him Gallagher. I don't think so either. You could argue that Gallagher, he's how well he's done in the Premier League is probably one of the reasons why Chelsea aren't looking to sign too many midfielders. Again, that's my argument. And thank you for 112, participants. But we have just 46 likes. Let's try and shoot for at least 100 likes by the end of the show. So if you haven't, take a second to like the video and also do subscribe to the channel. If we retain the system, Sterling, etc. will find it tougher than at current clubs. The same argument from you and I. Yes, it makes perfect sense. If we retain the 3 at the back approach, then Sterling will also struggle as much as he had struggled, maybe even worse. If you ask me. But hopefully, I still do believe that he will change up the system. Again, that's me. Ziyech was good at December, January with no injuries. Then boom, Tuchel dropped him for no reason. Exactly, and that's a good point there, brother. And that annoyed me really. And he cannot explain that. Thank you. And that's the aspect.
Of course, he can explain it.
Yeah, and that's the aspect. I think Thomas Tuchel. You could say that's the aspect where he is like Pep. Always finds a way. Should I say, confuse the media to always not find a reason to blame him for dropping a player or for performing badly. I think that's the aspect of him that I don't like. Yes, and I heard him that time saying how important Ziyech was for the team and how good his performances were, because the media was, we're talking about how good Ziyech was then, actually. AC Milan was great to watch last season. If you didn't see them, you missed out. I did see a few of their games because of Tomori. That's just the truth. Please keep liking the video. We have 48 likes right now. We're almost halfway on 100 likes because we're shooting for 100 likes. So please keep liking the video. Sterling, I am watching a week in, week out. I get it. Another Sterling. Again, let me see. It says, do you see Chelsea signing 3 centre-backs?
See.
If they don't, then it is stupidity overall, because the defensive department should be the priority for obvious reasons. We've lost Antonio Rudiger, Andreas Christensen, who you could argue at this point is in the purgatory because we're not sure if Barcelona are going to register him. And also there's a chance Cesar Azpilicueta leaves. And we're hearing that the club also, they have an agreement with Barcelona to sell Marcos Alonso to them. So you could, that counts for he counts for a defender. So that's important. Sterling, same with Timo, with excuse me, 8 open chances. This narrative of changing of one player, 4-3-3 means Vaz and Mount are playing in their midfield rows. Pulisic and Ziyech are playing wide. That's a changing for 6 players, not 1. Again, I think that argument, beats that changing for 1 argument. Richarlison, big loss. We had to sell him with FFP. Wish him well. Looking to bring in Dennis of Watford. Oh, that would be a shrewd business for you guys. So I'm going to looking for the questions here. If you have any question, please ask and we'll try to address it. We are world champions for a reason. Winning the Champions League. We really the best in the world? Well, you can't argue against that. We are, because we won it. That's simple. The criteria.
Is it fine if I say this?
Yeah, and we're called. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you have any confidence that De Ligt comes to Chelsea?
I do. Because Juventus wants to sell. And
but they don't want to sell. They have to sell because they have to sell.
Exactly. Okay, if that's the way, if you say they have to sell, then I have confidence is coming to Chelsea.
Yeah, but the thing is,
I heard that Thomas Tuchel have also spoken with him, and I heard that also he wants to come to Chelsea. And you've heard the statement from the director or president. Go ahead.
Yeah, the thing is, let's not forget. I don't know if some people agree with this. But I don't think Juve have a good negotiating power actually. And the reason
Why
why
do
I
you
say
say
this
that?
is that look at the Cancelo Danilo situation with City. That I will never understand that. And the fact that they're dropping the price as well, because they were asking for 100 plus. Now they're asking for at least 90 million. So I mean that in itself means that they know that if he wants to leave, they have to do it. I don't think they're gonna. I'm hoping they don't do what Sevilla did. And move the goalpost and what happened last summer. But
Uh-huh.
this player has, and this is why these are the players you should be going for. Players are actually saying that yes, I want, because I have a friend who met De Ligt. I know De Ligt. He asked De Ligt because he's a Chelsea fan, so he asked De Ligt, are you coming to Chelsea? And he laughed and he said, he sent me a video of it. So there's proof of it. I'll send it to you. So to show
Mm.
that I'm not waffling. So
No.
in
I
that
believe you. Go
sense,
ahead.
yeah. So in that sense, he's saying that he laughed and said, "We'll see." So I'm going to send a video to you. But I mean, in that sense, these are the players you should be looking at. These players who are desperate to play for you, because that in itself will say that they won't give up easily, because they're saying that I came to this club to do something, to prove myself, to prove that this manager who I have great admiration for, and that is why these players come to clubs like this, because they when the managers that they see are doing good at these clubs, it attracts them. And that is why I'm saying Tuchel has some player pool, but the player pool that some people want him to have, he can't have it, because unfortunately, some players think foolishly when it comes on to the fact that, oh, he's an ex-player. I grew up watching him as my idol, so I'm going to join the club because of him. That is the unfortunate thing.
Yeah. Again, thank you for 55 likes. We're edging even more closer to 100 likes. Please, if you haven't, take a second to like the video. And here, Werner wants you, says Alisson lives in Manchester United, and he says he has a follow-up comment. A Trent at the City. That's why. No, I never said that's happening. We just we're analyzing a tweet by PYS or Pies. I don't know how you pronounce it. Trent is moving to be closer to Alisson.
That is so
Again,
funny.
that's another funny comment there. Is Alisson, Alisson a girl? Are you referring to the goalkeeper? If you're referring to the goalkeeper, then it sounds really weird, but I'm not going to go into that. That's, again, your soup. Yeah. Relax. It's like 40 miles between the two cities, 40 minutes drive. It takes long to drive across
I don't think
London, which means
Jubilee
he
got
wouldn't be
that.
driving
I
that
was
much. Yeah,
joking.
yeah, because again,
I
it
was
takes
joking.
mental energy to drive. So to drive that 40 minutes to training, even 25 minutes, I don't think it's advisable. Except even if you're using a driver, it takes mental energy to drive. But that's, by the way, again, let me see anything. Says yes, yes to what? I'm not sure what you're talking about, Lucilla. And my brother DJ Saab, nice to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well. It's been a minute. I hope things are well with you and your family. Lusaka, we are stuck with it, but spent 200 million, only one ahead on the block. Again, it looks like I missed something there. Still asking him to get the best out of attackers. Does that mean Pulisic, Ziyech, Timo, Cho, Lukaku aren't good enough? Those are good players. Again, that raises question. Again, you could argue, there's an argument for him in terms of the fact, at things usually, the way things are done at Chelsea Football Club, I hope that changes now. Usually we get a manager to solve a problem. After solving the problem, we help the manager get in the players to mold the team, to be able to help him implement the game the way he prefers. Then after that, the jury will be out. If the manager doesn't do it, he gets sacked. But that have changed. I think we'll see what happens again. Well, maybe if he signs players, maybe he switch up the system. But there's an argument he wouldn't. And again, I've said hello to Chama before. I'm going to try to catch up. Starling's house for sale is in Cheshire, not Manchester. Okay, now I get it. Okay. Thank you very much for that, Kingslayer FC. Big up Ty and the panel and everyone in the chat. Thank you very much for kindly saying that. Just Viola, how are you? And Adam again says Ruben Neves is a Chelsea fan. Let's bring him in. I don't understand why we wouldn't go for Frankie de Jong. Now, at this point, if we want to do anything with Frankie de Jong, it will be another hijack adventure. And again, I think that's one I don't see I don't see working. Why do I agree? I don't see it working. You'd have to outbid Manchester United. You'd have to offer him more pay than they're offering him. And again, there's a chance he will prefer working. And De Jong also, he worked under Ten Hag, didn't he? He's one of those from that class. But Nick, let me bring you in. The fact that Ruben Neves is a Chelsea fan, why aren't we talking about him?
Yeah, I mean, it baffles me really. He's a great player. I always admired him, and he's a Chelsea fan as well. And we're not even looking at him. Sorry.
Let him finish, Nick. What were you saying, Nick?
I said, I admire Neves a lot. Great player. I'm surprised we're not even looking at him. Maybe because we're looking, we have to sort out the defense and the attack first, and the midfield. We have a lot of midfield players. That's the only reason I can see why we're not looking at him. We have Gallagher, Gilmore, even Lampard can come and play midfield. Yeah, but I would love him to come. Yes, of course, great player. But I think we've left it a bit late. We should have gone for him, last season or the season before. We left it late. We didn't even look at the player that much. I'm very surprised we didn't, but that's how it is. We can't get every single player we like, unfortunately. But it's because we have a lot of midfield players. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that's not possible. You cannot get every player we want. It's,
exactly.
It's like, Ty, your thoughts? Okay, I'm going to continue until Ty comes back. Ruben Neves, I've read that. If Ty comes and he has anything to say, if not, I'm going to be looking for questions. Tomorrow, Titi will mention DLT, Dembele, Sterling, Koulibaly, Aki. Man is confused. Again, we're not sure he's mentioning those players. If I misread your comments, again, thank you for 62 likes. I'd be ungrateful not to say thank you. You guys are absolute legend, and we're urging even more closer to 100 likes. So if you haven't, please take a second to like the video and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We're shooting for 4,000 subscribers as soon as possible. Right now, I'm going to give you the number so you know how quickly the channel is growing, and it's all because of you. We're at 3,256, and I do believe in a few days we will get to 4,000 subscribers. So please keep liking the video. We're shooting for 100 likes by the end of the show, but I know we can do better than that. If you haven't, please take a second to like the video. Now, this is about the fans today, and I know Nick understands, so I'm going to be looking for questions or anything to address. Yes, and my brother, Steve Chelsea, says, let's get to 100 likes. Check if you haven't. Please, yes, do check the button if you haven't. Again, here we say, Steve Chelsea, how are you? This is just Steve saying hello to Steve Chelsea there. Tribune says the transfer graphic with all the X's. Is it me or who are you talking about? I'm not sure. You let me know what you're talking about there. Okay, DJ says people in the chat smash the like button. Yes, listen to DJ and keep smashing the like button. We have 111 people watching, and we have just 63 likes. 63 likes. We can do better than that. We're ahead of you, Sav. How close is Sterling? Okay, the rumors are. First of all, I think what we've read, you could say it's a bit conflicting. What Fabrizio Romano tweeted yesterday, first of all, sounded as if the agreement is in place. Some say done, completed. It's just some say the only thing that's complicating his the transfer, the process is just Chelsea wants to add Nathan Ake to the deal. Some say the Nathan Ake deal is separate. Some say it's just a few things to sort out between the two clubs. I'm not sure. But again, there are too many things. If when you read them, you sense that really the deal is close. It's getting closer and closer, and he will soon become a Chelsea player. But again, never say it's complete until you see the player holding the shirt, put pen to paper, and then the club puts out a statement. That's when you will know the deal is done. Glenn, how are you? Says again, remember when we signed up Papi? Okay, now you're gonna make me bite off my tongue trying to pronounce his last name, but I'm gonna give it a shot anyway. When we signed up Papi Djiliboji, this is what happens when the board sign up players the manager doesn't want. It goes when it goes AWOL. It's same with Drink of Water, Bakayoko Kepa, etc. Bali is a smart, and I believe it's smart. I believe again, he says he will spend, but it will be sensible spending. It won't be reckless spending. And again, we've been spoiled, and we know who. I'm not going to try to name him. Again, respect and love to the man right now. And Chelsea will get the right players who will, again, that's what I believe. So we should be patient. I am good. Again, this is just I'm saying hello. TT still doesn't know his best 11. Hopefully this season he will get it right. That is just the truth. Because again, rotation, you could say, some say he's just rotating the team. That's the truth. Rotation is good. Rotation helps the manager avoid players
negative and positive.
But at the same time, it makes it very difficult for players to develop chemistry between themselves. You could argue, but they train together. No, match day atmosphere is different from training ground atmosphere because you're facing an opponent. This is different, again, it's a very different. So it makes sense. I think he rotated it too many times that it doesn't even help the case of those players trying to understand, to be on the same wavelength with their teammates. I think that's a very delicious comment there by my sister, Choma Wanem. I still feel for Pulisic, Ziyech, to all of them, I do feel for them because they all on so many occasions were played out of position. And here again, Chiden Wanem or Okachukwa. Okay, says Broya should be the 9 we have. It makes sense. It makes sense to you, but does it make sense to the player? And have you been following Thomas Tuchel to know he doesn't really value a traditional number 9s? But you could argue Broya is that maybe because he's still young and because he's able to play on the flanks, maybe he's fits in. Let's see what happens. Kevin Miyota say hi, bro. Hi to you too. I hope you're doing well. Todd Bowley will only sign players Thomas Tuchel once, and that's what I want to hear. That's exactly what I want to hear. And at the moment, they are busy with all the players rather than Ronaldo. Exactly. And he quotes Fabrizio Romano. It makes sense. I think Ronaldo would just be a luxury signing or just a business signing, but I don't think Chelsea will even risk it. Yeah. So if you haven't, please keep liking the video. We're at 67 likes. I know we can do better than that. Let me see if I find any question. If not, I will come back to the panel. Again, Nick Blue again saying, okay, what's happening with the Leeds? I think again the reports about the Leeds, there's nothing you can say. All conflicting also as usual. So I was the day before again 2 days ago. We're hearing that we're going in with 70 million euros, and then today we're seeing some reports that Chelsea are still preparing to go in with a bid. Some saying to go in with an improved bid. But the truth is, and then there's some reports that also say that talks are progressing between the two clubs. So that's a good sign because he's a player that I want at the club. I'm too busy watching Ajax if CFC's not playing. Yeah, I know. Again, Chelsea must sign Konet as Raphinha alternative. This man has made a big impact for a struggling team and is available as at a much cheaper rate. He will thrive. He will thrive in this system. Again, that's correct. Now, let me ask you this, Ty. I haven't asked you about a Cornet. What do you think about him, or have I?
No, you haven't.
Yeah, what do you think about him?
Oh well, I don't like judging players based on the club that they were at initially, because there have been players that have been at other clubs that we've signed and they ended up becoming good for us. It is something that I don't like judging players based on the club that they're at as well, because I think it's based on how they do. And one of the reasons why I'm going to drift away from this slightly, why I was so open to Raphinha coming to the club, is because he understands how how it feels, to have to fight for your team, trying to do what other players are not fortunate enough to be able to do, and that is for trying to score a goal when it matters. Cornet understands that. I know he got relegated with Burnley. I think he's at Burnley, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
So
you're correct.
So he's tried to help them. Yes, people say he's average, but I mean that is down to people not only looking at the club that he's at, but also trying to look at the profiles that he's surrounded around. The players that are at Burnley aren't really attractive per se in the attacking front. Yes, they love to score against us. I don't know why. We're Charity FC. It seems like players who have a dry spell, they just end up scoring hat tricks against us or a brace, or they just score. So I think in that sense, he's a good player. He's definitely not one of my preferred choices if we're looking at alternatives for Raphinha, but he'll be a person I'll be considering, and I'm pretty sure he plays as a wing back / fullback as well. So you never know. Tuchel could look at him and say that he's versatile, and he can probably use him if he's in need of rotating for somebody should he not get a target that he wants.
Nick, are you there? Nick, I want you to talk about this one. I know you like Koulibaly, and I know you have on occasions on this panel talk about the club signing him. It doesn't look like he himself wants to come to us. Even after we heard about the rumors that we made him an offer, even a bigger offer than Barcelona can. Let me come down. I'll let you come in. Can offer him. Now we're hearing that what's his name? The Napoli president, that they're offering him to Barcelona.
Yes, I heard about that. But we are still in talks with him. We haven't given up. It's another situation like Raphinha. Does he want to go to Barcelona as well? I don't understand. Why all these players want to go to Barcelona suddenly. Every single player we're after, they want to go to Barcelona. It doesn't make sense. I think it's all gossip. We're after him. I still have faith he will come to Chelsea in the end. I don't want to get it wrong like Lewandowski. I was so sure about him. But even him, he hasn't signed it for them. Barcelona are doing the funny things right now. And
funny things indeed.
Yeah, I mean, where they're getting the money is all, like Bobby said it how many times, paper money. They're going to be in serious trouble one day. These players are going to want, they'll be calling Bowley, please take me to Chelsea. That's what's going to happen, but it's going to be too late for them. So let's see what happens. But we're still in talks with him. That's what I heard. So I hope we get him because he's the only one who can replace Rudiger. I know De Ligt, another great player. I think we have a chance to get him. But we need both of them. It's not just Koulibaly or just De Ligt. We need both players. And we've still getting on. He's gonna be 39 coming up this year. Next year, we need someone there to play when he's not playing. Someone to guide the young ones. We have great young players at the back, Jules James, and we have Chilwell still experience, but it's a long season. We need a squad. If we're going to get close to City, we need a big squad and a good squad. That's why we're trying to get these players. But I have every faith we'll get him. I just hope I'm right. And the other player you were talking about, Cornet of Burnley. I've seen the guy. He ain't bad. He's an average player, a player that could come to Chelsea and really prove himself. That's the sort of player he is. We had players before in the past. We bought, we thought, oh, who's that? He only plays for this team or that team, but they turned out to be great players. We had it with a few players actually in the past. So you don't know, unless you take it. It's a gamble. it's a gamble because he's not well known and all that. But he ain't a bad player, and I'm sure Tuchel can make these players, really good. So I don't, I'm not too not to say no to Cornet, because what I see of him with Burnley, he was good. But I don't know if we're going to go for him. But we need to sort out Koulibaly, Dembele, if Raphinha, I think is finished. Some people are still thinking he's coming, but I don't think so. Unless something happens with Barcelona again and everything turns around to us. But I don't know. It's a very funny situation. Every player named with Barcelona is strange, because they're in really big trouble. That's why. So I hope these players see sense and they come to where they can have a future and win trophies. Come to the world champions. Forget Barcelona. I'm sure Tuchel is saying that to them as well.
Yeah, Ty, I'm sure. Thank you for that great input there. I'm going to soon again look for more questions to address, because this is a Q&A session. Ty, I'm sure you saw that tweet scrolled by Laporta that Barcelona is the president, or I don't know what's his job at Barcelona, saying something about the player salaries. That meeting, they have issues, and they're trying to keep players and get them to reduce their fees. And we have millions of players around the world linked to them. What do you have to say about that, Ty?
I feel like I'm angry at them because there's no way they're doing something. I mean, the cash injections, I said this weeks ago, the cash injections are going to free up a few things. People are saying that they need 2 more cash injections. Yes, that is the case. So for them to find somewhere, they're going to get some debt in the next 5 years. But if they had gotten 2 more cash injections, yes, it would have freed up a bit more of the debt, and the debt would have been reduced. The thing is, also something that he said is that Christensen will be, I think if I'm not mistaken, it's either Wednesday or Thursday. He said something about Kessie going to be coming on the Wednesday and Christensen is going to be confirmed on the Thursday, whatever it is. So I am confused as to how are they doing these things? How are they doing these things? Because the cash injection doesn't help them in terms of doing this. I was expecting them to register these players when they got that cash injection, but for them to be able to get these money out of nowhere without telling anybody, and they're supposed to be a club in debt. Yes, they're sponsored by Spotify and everything. So yeah, I think they have to change the name temporarily to.
They still have Rakuten and all those sponsors, but that's not going to cover the debt immediately. Go ahead.
So to me, I'm surprised that they have this amount of money to say I can give 60 million, or rather 40 million or 50 million, and give some installments over a period of time. So that even shows in itself that they don't have the money up front, and that is why for me it makes me so frustrated. And I'm not angry at Raphinha. If Raphinha chooses Barcelona, it's his dream move. If it's his dream move, then it's his choice. I can't be angry at the guy for choosing his dream move. That is his move. But I just don't understand where it makes so much sense that you go to a club where they're literally showing that they have great interest in you by giving the money up front. Bobby mentioned the fact that if you want a player, you're going to offer. In some sense, I can agree with that. Anything that they're asking for, but give something close to it. Giving 60 million upfront to Leeds and Leeds accepting it, that should be an indication that the club are interested, or they're open to bringing him to the club if it's possible. So with them giving that and then you're having to do installments, it's odd, because you can see that one club is willing to put the money where the mouth is, and the other club have to give some now, and then over a period of time have to give the rest in installments or through add-on. So I'm confused as to what they're doing. But we're linked with they're linked with 2 of our players as well. But for me, I you know what, to put some salt on the wound, even though I know some people want these 2 players to leave. Some want him to stay, some want him to not leave. we asked for 40 million each for both of them. You know, because what they're doing, that will indicate if they actually have the money or not. Because if they can give 40 million, then fine, maybe then. But I just don't think that there's something right about the way that they're just popping up with money out of nowhere when they're supposed to be a club that have these debt that even one injection cannot be lifting most of it, so they have positive amount of money to spend. So I'm not sure. They have to be doing something, and I think this needs to be not negotiated. This needs to be investigated because I don't know about this.
Yeah, thank you very much. Sorry, that great input right there. And then again, we have 121 people watching, and we have just 70 likes. Again, if you're more in the chat, keep reminding the people to like the video and subscribe to the channel if they haven't done so. Again, thank you for 70 likes. You guys are absolute legend. Please keep liking the video, because the more you like the video, the more people will be able to reach, and the more fun it'll be if we have more people here. Keep liking the video, and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. That will go a long way for the channel. Thank you very much. Says Abdulaziz Alamran says, do you think we can land Ronaldo? That's $1 million question. I don't think we will. And when if you were paying attention to the Twitter feeds that was scrolling, that Bolly says he will only go for players that Thomas Tuchel wants. And I don't think, if you ask me, Thomas Tuchel would want to bring in Cristiano Ronaldo to Chelsea Football Club, because again, players like him do come up with a lot of baggage. You know, again, prima donna, if you prefer. And when he was going to United, I argued that he wasn't going to solve the problem. He tried to create them more issues. Again, whether that was the case, I don't know. But the truth is, I don't think we want him. I don't think he'll be he will solve any problem for us. Even if it's good for business, I don't think it will be good for the team overall. DJ Sav says Chelsea have been negotiating with Sevilla for the last 3 days, but came back with no deal in place. Talks will continue, which means they really want the player. They really do want the player, and we'll see. Barcelona wants everybody. Barcelona wants everybody that Chelsea wants. Barcelona wants to keep Ousmane Dembele. Barcelona wants Raphinha. Barcelona wants Lewandowski, which we heard that the club wants to. Barcelona also wants, who else? I think I'm missing somebody. Koulibaly. That's how crazy it is. Again, just because says I cannot understand Chelsea fans wanting Ronaldo. Ask Manchester United fans what he did there. Forget the goals. That's the truth. And again,
I'm surprised.
We seem to forget easily. There are videos that will prove my argument.
I've never seen just Viola speak like this.
Yeah, I also did make the argument on Worldwide Chelsea podcast where I argued Ronaldo. I think some people say that he's gonna win. Not the Golden Boot. That he's gonna help them win the league or something like that. And they thought they were gonna win the league because they had the moment he came back to Manchester United, went back to Manchester United. But that's, by the way. Right now we have 79 likes. While we have how many? 107 people watching. Please keep liking the videos. It is free. It doesn't cost anything. If anybody asks you to pay, tell them the queen of the house, Just Viola, had already paid for you. Again, delicious comment right there from Just Viola. Says he will be sacked if he didn't do well with the signings. I think Todd Bowley will give him more time than Roman does, but we'll see. One thing you'll remember on this channel that I told you is this. I see Jose Mourinho coming back to Chelsea in not up to, let's say 3, 4, 5 years. We'll see. I think he will come back to Chelsea Football Club. You remember I said that today. Todd can wake up and but that can happen. Chelsea to complete a final deals with Raheem Sterling this coming week. In a few days, actually. That's a chance we'll announce him on Monday, but we'll see. Smash that like button. Yes, again, we need just 20 more likes to get to 100 likes, and we can get there as soon as possible. Let me see if there's any question. Keep asking questions so I can address them. And I think right now, I'm probably going to scroll to the very bottom. And if I skip any of your questions or input that you think I should have read or we should have addressed, the panelists should have addressed, apologies. I think Chelsea should drop out of Raphinha purchase and go for Dembele. I think Chelsea wanted them both. If you ask me, Chelsea didn't want just Raphinha and leave the other one. If that was the case, then they will find it difficult convincing Dembele to join them. because I think he'd recognize, okay, so I was a second choice. Uche Ukwama Wanne, welcome to the channel. I hope you've dropped a like on the video and also subscribe if you haven't. It says Kachila, you asked what I had seen 5 times. You're looking for my trouble right now. Again, Cho is going to be such a wild card on the wings of this season, hungry and out to prove himself. I hope that happens. But again, I don't want to start talking about Cho again. I have my reasons why I believe people judge him quickly, and we also seem to forget how young he is. Let me just quickly touch on that again. Cho will never be that Cho we see during his academy days. As he matures as a player, he would drop those sometimes unnecessary dribbles, that make us go, wow. He becomes more of a team player than an individual player. But most people quickly look beyond that to start judging him because they're not seeing all those flares. Again, I think he's a fine player. On his day, he's a good creator. He hasn't created too many, but I followed him long enough to know that's a talent in him. And given the time, I think he will succeed at Chelsea. He doesn't even need to go on loan right now. And I think Thomas Tuchel himself recognized that there were games he was key for us. And I will never forget that delicious goal by Hakim Ziyech that he put into the net through the 90th angle. I forgot the game. He started the move. He took on his man and then opted for a safer option, going backwards or sideways. He took on his man, drifted into the pitch, and then found Hakim Ziyech who was waiting for him on the right-hand side. And then he did what he did. With
Spurs.
Sir?
That was Spurs.
Oh, it was against Spurs. Yeah, that delicious goal, by the way. Again, says, let's get, again, you've been, is he your brother? Are you related to him? You've been campaigning for him. Let's get Nico Williams of Atletico Madrid as our top man, assisted by Sterling. Anika is the striker we need. You see, I don't know him that well, and I've asked you to educate us on the type of striker he is.
What's his Inaki?
Is it Inaki? What is it?
I know. The only one I know Athletic Bilbao is Inaki. I hope I didn't butcher his first name with him. That's the only one. I think he's pretty old, but he has a lot of pace.
Okay, right now we have 118 people watching and just 83 likes. Again, we have how many? 17 more likes to get to 100 likes. Ty, I'm starting with you. This comment here by Godplay the Gamer says, why are we pushing for Aki? I don't like Aki. I don't think he takes us to the next level. Ty,
I'm happy you started with me. I'm happy you started with me. I keep stressing this. If Tuchel wants the player, even if we don't like them, he's going to push for that player because he wants them. People need to remember that what we want and what Tuchel wants may not be the same. For example, we wanted Bazuma. That doesn't mean that he wanted Bazuma. We wanted Tchouaméni. That doesn't mean that he wanted Tchouaméni. We want, let's say, for example, I'm going to use a rash name here. We wanted, what's his name? Crap. The attacker that's at Everton now. That was at Everton rather. Richarlison. Yeah, we wanted someone wanted Richarlison. That doesn't mean that he wanted him per se. We were trying to hijack deals because of desperation. But if Tuchel likes Ake, and he hasn't been only since he saw him against Manchester City, he saw potential in him ever since he was at Mainz and Dortmund. So the fact of the matter is he wants Ake because he sees a good defender in there. And for me, I think he's a good defender. He may not be my first choice because I see other players that I think probably would do something good. But if Tuchel sees something in this player and he still persists with having him there, then that's the case. Yes, we may not like all the target that he wants. But at the end of the day, unless we're going to protest, unless we're going to do something crazy that's going to change his mind, which is unrealistic, he's going to go for these players and we just have to judge them then. And that's why I made this tweet on Twitter. Can we please wait until the players, if we sign the players that we're linked with publicly, wait until they come to the club, perform, then you judge them. You can't be judging players before you see them play. That is why, for me, I'm saying we can want Neymar, for example, or Raphinha. Raphinha could have come and flopped. because we don't know. Yes, we discussed this earlier in the Blue Morning Show, but Premier League proven being overrated in a sense, or not really making a difference, because we've signed players. We signed Drinkwater, we signed Ross Barkley, we've signed players like that, and it hasn't really worked out in the end. So yes, I mean, Ake hasn't really been a starter at Manchester City. He's been rotational, and he's been playing games. I remember when Ruben Diaz was injured, he came back in Champions League, he scored a goal, and he came back and scored goals. Yes, so there's things about that. Yes, the only thing that I find not really attractive about it is that Manchester City are looking to grind out as much money as possible so that we can facilitate their need or their hope of getting in Cucurella and make that price for him, especially with him being open about joining Manchester City. So yes, I mean, people need to remember that although Ake may not be as appealing as your Koulibaly, your De Ligt, and you think, if the guy wants these players, he has the right to want them, because he has his system. He thinks these players would suit his system. And then if it goes on like that, then he signs them. So yes, if he wants Declan Rice, he's going to go for Declan Rice. He's going to try for Declan Rice. And then we have to find a way of, trying to see what he'll do. And that's why, even though Declan Rice is not my first choice, I'm open to him coming to the club, because I want to see him do well. I want to see if he's going to come in and do it, because I want to see each investment that the club does work out, because at the end of the day, it means that we spend money and his money well spent. So yes. So if Ake comes in and I mean, he needs time to adjust, fine, because it's going to be a different system, and it won't be like Pep's system where they have the rules of them, being wide per se, and them coming. You need to be compact. You need to be alongside each other or a bit spaced out, but at least having a space where you can pass it alongside the back and then progress it to the midfield. So yes, Ake may not be as appealing as the other options, but if he sees something in him, clearly he thinks he can help his career, and the league sees a possibility that he can help him despite his underwhelming performances at Juventus.
Yeah, I think you make a very good argument. The fact that we let Ake go doesn't mean he's not a good player. That's a change. Again, an example I used the last time we talked about the Ake situation is how we recall how Rudiger, you could argue, was on the verge of exiting the Champions League, the Stamford Bridge gates, but he got he got rejuvenated under Thomas Tuchel and became, you could say, a world-class player. People attribute that, growth to Thomas Tuchel. If Ake is in fact a player Thomas Tuchel wants, so why are we complaining? I think we were the ones. We've always called for the club to, back the manager, and now the club, that's exactly what they're doing. And we've heard Todd Boehly say he's not going to sign any player that Thomas Tuchel don't want. So that's ironic. He wants Ake, just be calm. He knows what he's doing. If after spending the money he doesn't deliver, then he's the one in trouble and not you. And Nick, I'm going to come to you. I remember how pissed you were when you heard that we were going for Raheem Sterling, but you've come to terms that it's happening, actually, and you're all for supporting the player. So what advice do you have for Chelsea fans who've always called for the club to back the manager, and now they're questioning the targets?
I know what you're saying. Look, even me, how many times I said, trust in Tuchel, we have to do what he wants, get anything he does, we're behind Tuchel. We are behind him. We do love Tuchel. But, sometimes you hear, like our key situation, because, all right, he was good at Dortmund, he was great for Bournemouth, and that's why City went and got him. But, he went to City, he didn't show that great performance from what he had at Bournemouth. For me, I see him do too many mistakes. For me, all right, Tuchel wants him, but it doesn't, I don't have to say I want him. Like Sterling, I didn't want Sterling to be the first choice attacker. I'd rather keep my own attackers. Still, that would be my choice. Like you said it yourself, Ziyech is better than Sterling. For me, Ziyech is better. Pulisic, Werner even Werner for me is better. Honestly, these players should get another season before we go and get people like Sterling, Ake. Oh, who are we? we're Chelsea Football Club and we're going to get what Pep is throwing at us. Pep is trying to ruin us. That's what he's trying to do. He's scared of us. So he wants to, unload all these players like Sterling, Aki, to Chelsea so he can get the money. And like you said, get Cucurella in. That's what's going to happen in the end. But it's up to Tuchel. Whatever he does, at the end of the day, if you get Aki, Sterling, they're going to wear that blue shirt, then we can judge them. When they come out on the pitch, I will back them. I didn't want them, but I will back them. And we're going to see what they do. And it's on Tuchel's head. So, it's up to Tuchel to close that gap like he promised to close the gap. If he doesn't do that next season, I'll be on his head. I'll be one of the first calling him out, to get him out if he doesn't do that. Top four is not good enough for me. We have to get close to City or forget Thomas Tuchel. That's what I think.
Again, it depends on how many. Again, my argument has always been it depends on how many changes we make. If we're calling it a rebuild, then we must manage our expectations because too many changes means we have a adaptation period will be heightened, and that's not going to come easy.
Yeah, another thing, like everyone says, 6 players are coming. I don't think 6 players are going to come in. I said it from the beginning, 3 or 4 for the most. If we get 4, 3 probably for me. That's enough for this summer. We don't want to disrupt the team. But it's up to Tuchel. He's on his head. Whatever he does, we can't do nothing. We can say we don't like this decision, but we have to give him the chance, to show us what he can do. And if it doesn't work, we're all going to be, shouting for Tuchel, what's he doing? And we're going to be blaming him, like we do with every manager. So, it's on his head.
Yeah, thank you very much for that great input. Also, now, again, I want to let us know we have 109 people watching and we have 87 likes. Just 30 more likes to get to 100 likes. I know we can get there. Please keep liking the video. And if you haven't, do subscribe to the channel. That will go a long way. Again, your support is dearly needed. But all I ask you to do is just to take a second and like the video. It doesn't cost anything. It is for free. If anybody says, you ask you to pay, tell them DJ Saf was in the chat had already paid for you. Thank you very much for all the support. And thank you for 87 likes. I know we'll get to 100 very soon. But please, if you haven't, take a second to like the video. I wanted to talk about this update here from DJ Saf says, Ousmane Dembele deal. Laporte says that there's no deadline, but all parties feel now optimistic to reach an agreement on a 2-year deal. Again, this that debunks everything we've heard that we have a 5-year contract with him already. He's signed with Chelsea. He's going to be one of Chelsea's first signings, and I've always argued that it's going to be complicated. But let's see what happens. Never say never. Chelsea priorities are at the back for obvious reasons. Yes, fans have to be patient, but this is an area where signings have to be made urgently. Again, you could argue there's a chance they're able to look at all positions simultaneously. I think they have the resources in terms of personnel to do so within the ranks of Chelsea Football Club to look at all the positions at the same time and because if they try to do them one by one, there's a chance before they get them with one, they miss out on the other. I'm predicting either Rice, Neymar, or Ronaldo. One of those will be Ball's statement signing. De Ligt already counts as a statement signing if he's coming. You could argue that. But we'll see. Again, I don't think Ronaldo will happen. If Bally really only wants to sign players that Thomas Tuchel wants, I don't think he'd be going for Ronaldo. Ronaldo would not be easy to manage. In public, it will seem as everything is okay. But Ronaldo has always, wherever he is, it is always about him. From Real Madrid, from when he was at Manchester United, from his time at Real Madrid, from his time at Juventus, now his time at Manchester United, it is always about him. But he can. He's very good at pretending that things are fine, but he always wants things to be done the way that it benefits him the more. You can argue sometimes he even puts himself first before the team. Personal glory. But again, that's me. I could be wrong, but that's how I see it.
It was a Steven signing, though.
It will be, but then again, how
No, I'm talking
how will that
definitely.
affect the team
What
is
does
another
what
question.
does statement signing mean?
A statement
Yeah,
signing is like getting a big name like Ronaldo, getting
yeah.
a big name like, for instance, then
Lewandowski.
you can get Neymar is a statement signing. Again,
Yeah.
that's my definition.
Because
Maybe
you
So
that
say
would be
about
for.
Ronaldo, you're absolutely right. It
Hmm.
won't work, and I can't see Tuchel wanting Ronaldo. He's a one-man player. He doesn't play for the team. All right, he scored goals for United, but how many times, he was very bad. He cost them games. I saw it. He's not the player he was. Don't forget, he's getting on, and he ain't gonna play forever. And I don't see him scoring as many goals next season like he did the last season.
Hmm.
His time is coming to the end, and we don't need players like that. We don't want,
Yeah,
that's
we
the
do
last thing
not.
we need. Yeah.
We do not. We have 116 people watching, and we have 90 likes. Just 10 more, 10 more, 10 more to get it to 100. I'm sensing we're going to get to up to 150 or even 200 by the end of the show. So keep liking the video if you haven't. And also, thank you for all those that have subscribed this evening. I think we've gotten up to 20 likes this evening or a little less. But that's huge. I'm very, very grateful. I'd be ungrateful not to say thank you for 91 likes already. Just 9 more to go. Keep liking the video and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And if you have time, please do share the channel or the video on whatever social media platforms that you have presence to help us reach more people. Thank you very much. Here, Chelsea ATP says, I would retract bid for Raphinha and come back later at lower price when Barca realize Ty, we can hear the laughter, and I don't think it's okay because those in the chat can hear you also. Okay, bro. I would retract a bid for Rafinha and come back later at lower price when Barca realized they ran out of pennies. That's probably why Ty is laughing. Cornet, who? Kill Red. Good question. I don't know why you're asking that question. You tell us why. And don't make Ty laugh again, please. Cornet, it's too average. Have you actually argued, thought about maybe he's average because he's playing with a team that doesn't have, he's not surrounded by good players who. And again, he's done well. 9 goals in a team that created less chances than Chelsea Football Club isn't bad at all. Again, I'll continue reading, but I get your argument. Let us know why you think really. Give us, elaborate, gunplay the game. Let us know more. Give us more reasons why you don't want the club to go for him. Because it seems like Chelsea fans were being conditioned not to value players who don't spend big money for. I think that's the case. But the truth remains, good players don't have to be expensive. They don't have to be playing in the best teams. A perfect example being N'Golo Kante. You know how he joined Leicester City, and you know how we picked him, and how much we paid for him. For now, I think again, you know how much we'll be paying for him if had he stayed one more year at Leicester City, and people see how but we moved quickly. But that's, by the way, again, we need just 8 more likes to get to 100 likes, and we have 112 people watching. So thank you. Says we will get the lead. I am confident we will get him. Again, he's a good player, a leader, a ball leader, if you want. Inaki Williams of Atletico Bilbao. I mean, check him out, please. I don't judge players by just watching clips of videos on YouTube where it is just clips of where he did well. I like to judge players that I've watched play full games, 90 minutes on my own, see their shortcomings, see or deficiencies if you prefer, because no player is perfect. But I get your argument. Let me know, where is he from? And I want to know really, Jabulani, is he from the same country with you? You let me know. I really want to know. Raphinha was fighting hard for Leeds without much support. So that's probably the reason why we're fighting to get him. If we get him, I could care less that for Barcelona was his first choice. He's a professional, and believe me, he will perform. If he doesn't do well, he's not going to help his career. Again, I'm going to skip a few comments here and get to the bottom. Sorry if I miss your comments, but I'll be looking for questions. So I'm just going to skip down to the very bottom. If I see anybody I haven't said hello to, I will stop by and say hello to that person. People, listen. They have sold 10% TV rights. Again, this is True Blue. trying to educate us that Barcelona they have some money. He says, people, listen, they have sold 10% of TV rights and merchandising rights, what between 400 to 700 million a year for 20 years. It's not one-off. They got 180 million next week, and it's legit. So again, so let's not be questioning how they getting all the money from. Again, this explanation here makes sense. I'm in no way, in no means, by any means necessary an accountant, but I think that makes sense. I think Ronaldo will flourish at Chelsea. He has energy of Kovacic, Kante, Mount, and Gallagher. Okay. And Sterling, Rhys James, Chilwell. These guys can do the donkey work for CR7. Yeah, but again, it's not. On the surface, it's that simple. But he comes with a lot of baggage. I'm going to say that again. I've heard of Inaki Williams. My problem with him is he's been in Spain forever, and they have the best return of goals last season. So why should we go for him? Again, I think I've read this before. Jabulani, I've asked you tell us whether he is from your place. And again, let me see if there's anything here. Yeah, just 1 second. I'm going to skip a few things here. It says, Kachila, this your IG name and your email. Yeah. The email, I'm not going to say the email publicly, but you can reach me via that's Chelsea Perspectives blog. Use the form there. If I don't want to say my email address here, but you can inbox me via Twitter. If you search for Chelsea Perspective, you will see there. And if you search for Chelsea Perspective on Instagram, Chelsea.perspective, you will find us on Instagram and inbox me. I will read it. Again, smash the like button, people. That being said, I have to leave you all until next time. I knew you were going to say something after that. Glenn. All right, see you whenever you have time, brother. Much love from here. And we need just 6 more likes to get to 100 likes. So if you haven't, take a second to like the video. And like I said, I'm going to skip everything. He scored goals again, but all the teammates declined. And that's not a coincidence. The Man U player lost morale. There's a chance that's the case. Again, I saw something from Pasto, and I missed it. I always like reading his messages, but I'm just going to skip to the bottom. Apologies if I miss any of your comments. I want to be all caught up, and I'll be looking for questions. Okay, yes, Pastor here. He says, truly, Joseph Stalin is not as good as Werner or Pulisic. Pulisic is a better dribbler. Another waste of fun. Chelsea could have scaled through last year without buying another panic buys. Another delicious argument right there. And Kingslayer says Inaki and Nico play for the same club in the same lineup. I don't think family is easily that separated. Oh my goodness, I love that one. I really do love that one. Tavani Hagi Kema and playing in loyal Blue Rangers through and through. Okay, thank you. I'm not sure. I am from Thailand. Welcome at the Wolf. Welcome, and I hope things are well in Thailand. Nice to see you here, and welcome to the Chelsea Perspective family. Todd wants to win trophies. We sign the best. These are cornet nonsense I'm hearing, and Aki works hard, but he is a squad player. We are taking in a City rejects. Can you compare Aki to Konate or to Laporte? Again, you cannot. But the truth is, 1 month's poison may well make a very good meal for another man. That's just the truth. So let's see what Thomas Tuchel, if he wants them, who am I to blow against the wind? And Kimso, nice to see you. Sterling is better than Pulisic and Werner combined. That's your argument. I thought Barca already signed him, Raphinha. Shei, my Niger brother, nothing is certain yet. We'll see what happens. Ronaldo can break the number 9 curse at Chelsea Football Club. I don't even want to even talk about that. Does that really exist? Or it's just nonsense. Inaki, Spanish, and brothers separate all the time. Chelsea need a Scamacca. Aha! Let's talk about a Scamacca. Try outside with you, and now go for Nick to round of the Scamacca topic for us. How well do you know him, and how good is he? Did we lose Ty? Nick, if you're there, can you come in? Do you know Scamacca? And you, Sabri, can you give us his statistics? Tell us everything there is to know about him that can confuse us. I think it was Bobby have talked about Scamacca on occasions, and I haven't had the time to research him and see how good he is. Again, I usually find it difficult to just. Went wrong. I usually find it difficult to just jump to complete conclusion saying a player is good without watching them play a whole game and not just base my decision or on clips of videos where they did something good, but no clips of videos where they make mistake or something like that. So Nick, are you still there? Okay, if I'm alone,
Yeah,
I'm going to roll.
yeah.
Okay, Nick, tell me, do you know Scamacca very well?
I haven't. I won't lie. I haven't seen him play. Maybe I have, but I haven't seen him properly. Who's he played for? I forgot now. Who's he played for?
I don't even know him that much. ODZ Evans, can you educate us on him even more? Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the player, so I can't really say if he's good or not. But who said we're looking at him?
No, never say we're looking at him. Somebody's suggesting that we look at him. And I think Bobby has also, on occasion, talked about him on the show, saying we should look at him. It sounds like, but go ahead. You were saying something.
I mean, like this player, we've had so many fans have suggested every player they see, and they might have seen the player play one match, and they like him, and they're going to suggest him. That's what's going on right now. That's what's happening. But we're not looking at every single player. The main players we're looking at, we all know. But I can't really say if he's good or bad because I haven't seen him play really. Not hardly. I don't think, maybe I have, and I don't even remember. So I mean, fans are going to suggest every player in Europe. It's been mentioned already, actually, for Chelsea. So, so I don't really know. Whoever's made that comment to let us know who he plays for first.
Let me see. I think I may well have to research him and make do with what I have. If I get a chance to watch him for the full 90 minutes, I'd love to do that because Bobby talked about him like 10 times on this show. If we get Koulibaly, it's like getting Rudiger's brother. I think he's actually overall a better player in terms of being his ability on the ball than Rudiger. But Rudiger is more aggressive than him. Again, that's me. I think he'd be able. What makes Koulibaly? What would make Koulibaly a good signing for us is that I think he's. You could argue he's capable of fulfilling the Thiago Silva role, which I don't think Rudiger can. I think Rudiger isn't cool-headed enough to be able to fulfill the Thiago Silva role, but Koulibaly can. He's that good on the ball. Again, right now we have 97 people watching and we have 98 likes. There's 2 more to get to 100 likes. And thank you for 98 likes. And also thank you for the few subscribers that we've gained today. It's not easy. And if you're new here, welcome to the channel. Feel at home and don't miss out on the Blue Morning shows. I think you will love it. Everybody twerking for Vaca. Yep, that's what it is. It says Scamacca is a vicious. Wow, I really, Nick, we really have to do our research on the player because everybody seems to love him. Is a vicious striker off the ball. That's a statement that scares me. That means that's good actually. If he can score goals and it's vicious off the ball, which means he's able to unsettle. What club does he play for? Again, educate me. Again, we don't know everything. We're panelists, but we don't know everything. We learn from each other here on Chelsea Perspective, and that's good. And again, if he's vicious off the ball, which means he's able to unsettle opposition defenders. So I like that. I watch EPL, La Liga, Serie A, League R. Sorry, excuse me. I've identified players that I believe can add value to our Chelsea. Inaki is not my relative whatsoever. Again, thank you, and I hope my question didn't come across as insulting to you. If it did, apologies to you. I'm just saying that because I have a friend and a brother in Fairboy who is always suggesting Ghanaian players to us because he's from Ghana, and there's nothing wrong in you suggesting your brother. And again, if you do all these things, inbox me. Maybe I have to do a video because I'm starting the series again, the second season of the Scouting for Chelsea series. If you want to participate, reach out to me and we'll make a video on why you want Chelsea to sign Inaki. That would be good. Says Scamacca is good, but a standout player for okay, Sassuolo is Bernardi. Sassuolo is in Italy, right? Let me know if is it Italy. Let me know if I'm correct. Arsenal was linked with Scamacca. Why did they leave him? And I'm hearing Arsenal now wants to same here. Chelsea, devious of Jorginho again. That's not English, and I'm not sure. Scamacca is tall, forceful, has a high appetite for goals. He is a central striker. He plays for Sassuolo in Italy. Okay, and he has been rewarded with a Nations call-up. Call-up. Okay, to the Italian team. Sassuolo, was that the same team? What's this skillful player from Chelsea Academy played for also? Boga, Jeremy Boga, I think he played for them. But I get your argument. If it's that good, then I'm surprised we're not looking at him. So I think maybe we are, but we don't know. But then again, one thing we've talked about on this show is that there will be some surprise signings. There will be signings of some players we don't know the club we're looking at, and then boom, we got him. But I really hope Broya and Colwell. Again, sorry, just quickly, I wanted to say something here about the suggestion. If he is a traditional striker, then signing him for Thomas Tuchel will be just a waste of money. I can guarantee you that. But I really hope Broya and Colwell are considered. Broya is a fighter and very big for a 19-year-old, a 19 or 20-year-old, and has good ball control. Colwell gives me a Genteri vibes. Yes, he is that good. Again, that brings to mind my argument on not Levi Colwell, Harvey Vale, that I argued yesterday should be given a chance, even if it is the preseason alone, or even just keep him at the club, because now he's high on confidence after leading the young Lions to a European glory. We should build on that. Keep him at the club. And with how confident he is right now, I think he would do well. Give him a running of games in cup games, even Premier League games, 20 minutes, 15 minutes here and there. And with time, you will see him, build on the confidence and then become a starter with time. Again, let's see what happens. Sassuolo striker in Italy. Okay, thank you very much, True Blue. Again, Scamacca plays for Sassuolo. Yep. Was that the same club that Jeremy Boga played for? You let me know. Scamacca plays for Sassuolo in Italy. Okay, everybody informing me of what I asked for. Inaki is like a La Liga Timo Werner. The man can run for sure, but his goal return is not good. I think you said something like that before. Again, what did Chinedu do? Okay, Chinedu Abiagam Dalo. By the way, I just need to show you that we're from the same tribe. Banfordinho says Chelsea should sign Alexander Jiku. He is a fantastic defender who can light up the Premier League. He's tough and very aggressive with his feet. Very well in EPL. Will fit in very well in the EPL. Very young as well. Educated small on the player. I don't know him. I have to be honest. And Diego Rios says, for me, Chelsea need two central defenders, one central midfielder and one forward. Okay, it makes sense. If Dembele, True Blue, you're looking for my trouble now. And again, people, thank you for 100 likes. Let's top with that. We still have 92 people watching. I know we can top 100 likes, but more importantly, I have to say thank you for 100 likes because it's not easy. I'd be ungrateful not to thank you for that. Never easy. So thank you for 100 likes. The channel is really growing really fast, and I couldn't have done that alone. It is with your support. So thank you, and thank you again. Says Anthony is good. Again, I missed something here. If Dembele and Raphinha are going to Barca, go for Anthony from my sister club, Ajax. I've heard he's good. And I've heard he's strong too, but I have to do my research. I think that would be a good addition given how much people have talked about him. Anthony is good, but I think Ajax is asking far too much. That shows you how much they value the player, and probably because he's good. Hello, greetings from Chile, faithful follower of Chelsea since 2003 when he was DT on the Ranieri. Oh, good. Good to have you here, Diego Rios. Welcome to the channel. Feel at home. Be sure to subscribe. Again, please, if you haven't, I don't know if the numbers are, if I'm seeing double here, it was 102, now it's 100, but it's okay. But if you haven't, please take a second to like the video and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. That will go a long way for the channel. Hello, greetings. Okay, I've read that. Welcome to the channel. Please feel at home. Diego Reyes, hola, welcome, brother. Yes, welcome. My two favorite teams, Colo Colo, and Chelsea. That's good to know, and thank you very much. And again, welcome and feel at home. Coach, what do you think about a backline of Aki, Silva, and De Ligt? And Aki, in what position? I'm guessing you have him on the left-hand side. Is that the case? You let me know, Kim. So I think if my memory serves me right, I think games that Aki have played for us, I think he's played on the left-hand side for Chelsea Football Club. He wasn't Aki. There's a player who's a youth product that played against Liverpool, that played on the left-hand side, but he was under Jose Mourinho, so not Aki. Aki, I think he's played on the left-hand side for us. Again, I trust him. The fact that we didn't keep him at the club doesn't mean he wasn't good enough. I think he wanted to leave. And when we sold him, I think the club knew he has it in him. He knew that is the potential he has. That's as an academy, as a club academy product. They had a buyback clause in him, and they didn't exercise that. That was why Man City bought him. Again, I think. Would you say they're looking to sell him? I think Pep is usually patient with players. A prime example, you could look at John Stones. There was a stretch of period where he didn't get game time at all, and then he came back in the team and became a regular. So you look at that and and understand. Really, it's not that they want to sell him to us isn't really because he's bad. It's because we want to buy him, and probably he wants to join us because he's not playing as often as he expected when he joined at the club. And at Chelsea, maybe he see the chance of him starting more games than he is done at Liverpool. So I think Aki won't be a bad addition. And like I've argued, we've all called for the club to back the manager. If that's exactly what they're doing, and if we've heard that Todd Boehly has said he only gets the players that Thomas Tuchel wants, we shouldn't even question that. So I think he would do well for us. So good question right there. Kuchila, what do you want? Kuchila, who do you want, Dembele or Raphinha? The truth remains, from what we're seeing, it seems as if the club wants both players. Correct me if I'm wrong if you're in the chat. But over the two, if I'm asked to pick one of them, I decided, actually, again, that's me. I will keep Hakim Ziyech and assign Dembele and let Raphinha go to his preferred club. That's me. But since you give me two names to pick from there, honestly, being objective, I'd pick Raphinha, given he's not as injury prone as Dembele. There's no guarantee that Dembele has overcome his injury issues, and he comes with the baggage. And the fact that, here's the thing, I have to be truthful with you. Dembele has a history. He comes with a lot of baggage. Something that the club cannot just simply sweep under the floor, or something that cannot be easily swept under the floor, something that the club must deal with. And that's why I've argued there's a chance that the club would want him. Part of his agreement that he was signing with the club would be, to release a statement regarding his past, saying how he's saying donate some money, like Bobby suggested, to some to some charity organizations in the country where the incident took place. I don't want to talk about the incident. I'm sure you're well acquainted with it. So Dembele isn't that simple, and Chelsea is known, to be against discrimination of all sorts, racism, what's the other one called, anti-Semitism and all that. And then you sign a player who has a history, then you must defend yourself. And when it's Chelsea, it gets the media likes it. They do make a meal out of it. So again, that's the reason why I'd pick Raphinha over him for obvious reasons. But is he a good player? He's a good player. Will it be a good addition to us? He will be for obvious reasons. So thank you very much for that question again. Isn't De Jong just like Kovacic, but with goals? I wouldn't even advocate us going for De Jong. I think you could argue he's more physical than Kovacic, and he gets you more goals. And you could they're both mobile. I'm not sure how he compares with Kovacic in terms of dribbling, in terms of beating the press, in terms of dribbling his way out of tight spaces. But let's talk about him for a bit, and I'll start with Ty here. Ty, your thoughts on this comment on the screen?
Seriously?
Yeah, you're looking at it.
Oh my goodness, this is madness. Oh, I think that's wrong profile. I think he's similar to Jorginho than to Kovacic.
Yeah.
I think the thing is that he's a quicker than Jorginho, and he has passing, but I don't even think it's somebody we should be thinking about. But yes, he does have goals. He can score goals, but is he the player that we need? He's not physically strong in the regard that we need it. Not even his body weight or anything, but physically strong for what we need from a DM. And to be quite frank, I'm not sure if he is necessarily of the same profile as Kovacic. I think Kovacic is more of a box to box, and he's more of a deep lying playmaker. So I'm not really sure about that. But I mean, De Jong is somebody that Man United wants, and it's a player that Man United are aiming to get, despite Laporta saying that he's not leaving. They don't want to sell him. Things are case by United, but I don't agree that he's like Kovacic but with goals and passing consistently.
Yeah, and I think it was a tribute who suggested I think we should get him and sell Jorginho because he can fulfill the Jorginho role, and I think he'd do better even no matter how you press him. I think it's still progressible, and I think he dealt with the physicality of the Premier League better than Jorginho has. It makes perfect sense. Nick, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say this: I wouldn't take any player to replace Pulisic. Pulisic, Kovacic. Kovacic is one of our best players, in this team. He's one of our best players, and we don't get rid of our great players. For me, De Jong is a good player, I know, but he's going to United. It's obvious he's going to go to United. So I don't even think about that. Replacing Jorginho, I don't think he's better than Jorginho. Jorginho is a great player. He started badly for us, but he proved everyone wrong. We all saw what he done. In the way he played. All right, he passes a lot sideways and that, but he still, he helped the team a lot. And Tuchel always liked Jorginho for a reason, because he came on when we needed him, when we needed to steady the game, when we, and a lot of times when we didn't bring him on, we lost the game or we drawed. For me, Jorginho is another one of our good players. And so for me, I wouldn't swap Jorginho or Kovacic. No way for this De Jong. No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. A great compliment. I think again, I wouldn't swap Kovacic for any player in the world right now. He's been our best player for quite some time. You could argue on his day the most consistent, except when he came back from injury. Then he wasn't really fully fit because he was just returning from injury. He didn't put in that performance we usually see from him. Again, thank you for 107 likes. You guys are absolute legend. I appreciate that. Much love from me. I appreciate all the love you show to the channel and to the panel. Again, soon, I owe you guys one giveaway that we were supposed to do for 3,000 subscribers. And then again, once we get to 4,000 subscribers, I think I'm able to double that, and I can do that. But that's why I always ask you. All I ask of you is just the likes, like the video, share the video. You don't even have to donate. I owe you, gratitude to thank you in a way, however I can, and I'm capable of doing that, and I will do that. There was a time we gave away like $50 in how many 10 days in a row or so, but we'll see what happens, and we'll commence that very soon. Again, Sergej Milinkovic-Savic is a good player, but he is more of an improved version of Loftus-Cheek. If Loftus goes and played to his full potential, he would play like SMS. Here's the argument for Loftus-Cheek. He's a fine player, and I love talking about him. And again, I love him so much that Chichi is one of the biggest supporters, or one of the queens of the house here, always ask how I feel if he underperforms, or if she hears that Chelsea are looking to sign him. She always sends me a message asking me how I'm doing. Here's the thing: he is that's one of the most technically gifted players ever to have come through the Chelsea academy. He's just been quite unlucky due to the injury, and on the Thomas Tuchel, he's been quite unlucky to have played in every position except the goalkeeping position, if you ask me. Loftus-Cheek is not a number 6. Loftus-Cheek is a number 8. And I don't want to start analyzing what makes his game as a number 8 so special. He can finish. And that's why I like to see him close to the final third, or in the final third. And under Mauricio Sarri, we saw what he's able to do as a number 8, or if you're playing closer to the final third. But under Thomas Tuchel, that experiment of playing him as number 6, I just don't know. I think you can argue him and Ross Barkley are only one of the natural number 8s we have in the squad, yet we don't play him there. And whenever he plays as number 6, I think you could argue, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't have the stats to prove it here, we've lost nearly all the games that he's played at number 6 or performed poorly. Yes, when he plays as number 6, he glides through the midfield, and it's always good to see him. The way he controls the ball, the way he passes the ball, the way he dribbles are always delicious to see, but he just can't read the game, which is, you could argue, the primary responsibility of one of the 6s, and that's especially true when you pair him with Kovacic. He does a very bad. So again, comparing him with SMS, I think they're very two different players. Again, I have to tell you that Savic, you can argue, is more mobile than Loftus-Cheek, more aggressive than Loftus-Cheek, if you ask me. Ty, your thoughts?
Sorry?
Ty, your thoughts on the comparison between, not really a comparison, but if you look at the comment on the screen, how do you think Savic and Loftus-Cheek, how do you think they differ?
In terms of that, I mean, even if you're going to say that, I would love an improved version of Loftus-Cheek. Honestly, I would love an improved version of Loftus-Cheek. But I mean,
do you think that's what the Savic is, or do you think he's entirely a different player?
I think it's different, but I mean, if you're gonna say he's more of an improved version of Loftus-Cheek, I would love that, because what Loftus-Cheek does, and I'm not talking about the Loftus-Cheek in a 6. I'm talking about Loftus-Cheek in his rightful position. If he's an improved version of Loftus-Cheek, I would love it, but I don't think so. I think he's a mixture of both an attacking midfielder and a defensive-minded midfielder. He can defend quite well. He does well for Serbia, and he can also create. I mean, it's Italy, so some people say that, he creates like this, and we saw like with Jorginho, and he was creating and he was doing things like that. But Savic does it for both Lazio, and he also does it for Serbia, country-wise. So I don't really see the comparison, because Loftus-Cheek is good most of the time when he's playing in his rightful position offensively, but I don't believe that he's as similar to Savic in any regard. I think it's a case where there are two different profiles, offer two different things to whatever team they're playing in, and I think that in terms of that, I can't relate to the comparison, honestly.
Yeah, I think they're two different profile of players. Again, you make that thing. Again, thank you for all the great inputs here, and it makes us think. It makes us come up with objective responses. If you ask me, So thank you, Gunplay, for those great responses. I love him. I'm not a huge fan of Ike, but if he really wants to join us, and if Thomas Tuchel, let me complete that for you again. I like doing that for all our followers here. And if Thomas Tuchel really wants him, again, let it happen. So Kim, so I get that. Again, so anything else? If you have any questions, please shoot it, because we have a few minutes to round off. Again, we'll try to address your question. Delete for me looks like an improved version of Maguire. I don't know why people compare him to Maguire. I think he's a better player. Maguire is how old is Maguire now? Isn't he 20? He's in his late 20s. So Delete can improve, and the mistakes people talk about. The mistake people call out Delete for is something that's very common with young players, and it's something that he will shade as he matures as a player. Dembouz is working for Barcelona. I may have used that actually to get a better deal, and if he stays, I'd be surprised. Again, I don't know. They're asking him to take a pay cut, and Chelsea will probably give him close to what he's earning already, or even exactly what he was earning, what he used to earn at Barcelona. So I just don't understand what's going on there. Rumors are Tuchel doesn't think Kounde is physical prepared for the Premier League. I think this is what happened with Tchouameni last year. I don't think that's the case. That argument to me doesn't make any sense.
Oh, come on, man. No.
Yeah.
I could understand the first part, but sorry, I'm sorry for cutting you. By the way,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the thing is, Tuchel didn't say that Tchouameni wasn't physically ready. That was the head of scouting, Scott McClicken. He said it, not Tuchel. But at the same time, I don't know if Tuchel was pushing for Tchouameni anyways. But I think, with that, I don't think it's about him not being physically prepared. And if that's a poor excuse as well. If you don't think he's ready, you get the player in if you want him. You slowly embed him into the team, slowly integrate him in, so he gets a feel of the league, and then you go from there. I can agree that maybe it's not physically prepared, because even when we signed, well, not signed, but when we got Saul Niguez on loan, I was saying that his debut against Aston Villa showed that it's an underestimation of what the league is. He was taking time on the ball, and he never had that time, so he lost the ball, he gave the ball away, and we nearly conceded. So because of that, it takes time. That is why even with Kounde, although I would love to see Kounde come in, I understand that it's going to take time for him, and that's why people say preseason is key. Preseason is key, but preseason doesn't really help in all areas, because in preseason you don't play against the teams you're going to be playing that has high press on you, where they're going to be continuously coming at you. You may face some like Arsenal who like to press and things like that, but you're not going to be facing the different profiles of those teams are going to be saying, oh, I'm not going to ease upon you, I'm going to be coming at you, I'm going to be at your neck. You're not going to see that. So even with that, you sign the player, get him time to adjust, and then he can become a key player. That's the way things work. You don't say that you're not going to sign to because they're not physically prepared. Not physically prepared, you want the player, you bring them in, and then you work with them to help them. That's what top managers do. Rodri, for example, Bino, for example.
I think I'm not going to subscribe to that argument there. Gunplay, I love you, but I don't think. But I get your argument, and still, I love this input right here. Again, here's why. And Nick, if you don't mind, quickly, I'll catch up with the chat, and I'll come back to you to talk about this. I highlighted it. Here's the thing. Again, more importantly, Tuchel likes intelligent players, and that's why he's always loved Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva isn't the most physical, but his intelligence is what makes him the special player that he is. He can lead a whole team without uttering a word. With how he passes the ball, with how he controls the ball, he doesn't even need to talk to lead. But I will come back to Nick to have his input there. I highlighted it, and I want Nick to say something about it. And Killer Red says, make Barca panic by offering Dembele another deal. That may well be the case. Diego, welcome. Yes, welcome, Diego. And thank you very much for saying that. Kuchila, I agree with you. Keep Ziyech, bring in Dembele, let Raf go. Yeah, go. It's like, Dean, Coutinho, and Hazard. Yep. Again, for me, Chelsea is making a mistake in selling Marcos Alonso one of the sides with the best definition saved Chelsea from money. I get your argument, Diggory Riaz. Do I like Marcos Alonso as a player? Yes. Am I concerned because of his defensive abilities? Not really. Because the primary responsibilities of the Chelsea wing backs, given the way Thomas Tuchel, the way he implements his three at the back system, the primary responsibilities of the wing backs the responsibility singular is to attack. But yes, they're expected to do something defensively. But the issue with Marcos Alonso, he's not been consistent enough when he's in the defensive area. When you expect him to do more, he does less. And that's especially true. I think it was Stav here on the panel that argued he does well for a while, and then next thing he goes into comfort zone if he doesn't have strong competition. But when he sits on the bench for a while, comes back in, you see how good he can be. And believe me, he would do well at Barcelona. Again, if Thomas Tuchel doesn't really want him, which is the case right now, and he's asked to leave, actually. He wanted to leave. He made it open. He wants to go back to Spain. So I don't blame the club for, accepting the deal that Barcelona is offering. We should talk to Dembele and just make Barca spend more money. That's a chance, and that's a chance he used us. So it's not just used. So Kingslayer, you get that. Chelsea must sign Koulibaly, De Ligt, Bremer for our back line. In the midfield, we must sign Declan Rice, Brozovic, and Antonio of Ajax for our front line. We must sign Sterling, Hinaki, Skamaka. And for the board, we must fire everybody and bring in more new people. Are you done, Jabulani? Are you done? That is quite some list right there again. But I get your point. I know some people want that to happen, but that's never going to happen. Let's forget Raphinha and go for Dembele. We'll see what happens. Says D Black. Welcome to the channel, and please thank you if you're watching. We have 72 people watching and we have 110 likes. If you haven't, please like the video. We have just a few minutes to round up, and I'll try to see if there's anything to address here. Before I sign off for bed, G Labucci. If you didn't say this, I was going to ask you for your ID. And the Deadwood previously mentioned were MLS acquisitions, not on the board. He was a DOF then. Again, correct argument because, yeah, he was the DOF then. Hey, Kachila, it's just me. Is it just me, or is La Liga making players prone to injuries? I remember Hazard at Chelsea. He took so many boots, so to the ankle and shin, and still, got back in one of those games. I think that's a good point right there. Nick, let me start with you on this one. Your thoughts on this comment on the screen?
Yeah, let me see. Let me read it. Hold on. I was talking about legit.
No, he's talking about how bad. Maybe he's arguing that the La Liga, I think players, I think they don't have a good medical team. Players get injured easily and stay out for a long time. It has happened so much. And Bell, you can count Bell as one of them. You can count Eden Hazard, Dembele, who was brilliant at Dortmund, but the moment he went there, everything changed.
Yes, you can say, maybe. I don't think they do have a good medical team like we have over here, in the Premiership. I think that's one reason, and the Premiership is is a lot more physical than the Italian league or the Spanish or any other league in Europe. We have the most physical and physical league in the world, really. That's why everyone wants to come to the Premiership, because it is the best in the world. But the injuries, I think it is to do with their medical teams. They don't have what we have over here. We have special medical teams here. And we do get players injured and they come out. They go out for a period, but they always come back. And you can't compare the medical teams like our medical team against a Spanish medical team or Italian. You can't. It's not comparable.
You make
Yeah.
a good argument. Ty, your response to what Nick just said, and then I'll catch up with the chat and we'll call it a day.
I'm really sorry. I barely heard what he said.
Again, something about here's the comment here. If you have time, no worries, bro. I understand. He says, "Hey, Coachella, is it just me, or is La Liga making players prone to injuries?" I think that alone explains what he's talking about.
Oh, I mean, it does look.
Because there are examples. Bale is one of them.
Yeah, I was about to say that actually. I was going to say look at Bale, because I mean, I'm pretty sure when he came to Spurs, he was missing for injury reasons, and yeah. So I think I think there's I think it's. I don't want to make an assumption, but I feel like and I'm not trying to downplay the La Liga, but I feel like the demands there are not as high as in the Premier League. The Premier League has more high intensity pressuring, on it. Unless you have I think there's only like 5 clubs that actually have that pressure, to that each they show great aggression when they face these type of teams, and it's probably Real Madrid, Barcelona, in some cases Sevilla. You have Atletico Madrid, and then and in some cases you have other teams as well. So I think in that regard, when you're playing in La Liga, the demands, it should be easier for you to do a lot of jobs, in terms of getting past players and doing things like that. So I think in that regard, when you don't continuously add a lot of pressure onto the parts of your body, you're not having great exercise. It doesn't really make your bones as strong. And plus, even with Hazard was gonna always struggle with injuries because I mean, yes, they said he didn't like to do a lot of training, but at the same time he had to be working out. So I think in terms of the work that you need to put in when you're in the La Liga, it's not at the same caliber as the Premier League. You need to be physically strong because, like I keep using this analogy, in the Premier League you have these players where if they can't bring you down, they're gonna tackle you. They're gonna bring you down anyway, one way or another. They can't stop you. They're gonna bring you down. So that's the case. So I feel like that could be a case that leads to why these things are happening. I think that because the amount of exercise that you need to be doing while you're playing is not at the same caliber as when you're in a Premier League or probably in another league that demands high intensity, high pressure.
Yeah, great input right there. I'm going to catch up with Chad, come back to the panel, and then get your final thoughts so we can call it a day. Again, thank you for that gunplay. And Kings Slayer CFC says Skamaka is 6'5" or 195 centimeters. Thank you for converting that. I usually am not able to do that. So I don't know how well he moves off the ball for TT, but he strikes the ball like Haaland, in your opinion. And I think somebody says he's a beast off the ball. Again, I like, but the question I want to ask, I'm going to research him. So we'll talk about him further. If he's a traditional number 9, then signing him for Thomas Tuchel will be a waste of money. And I will explain that if you want to. Even Coutinho, yes, even Coutinho was injury prone. As soon as he goes to Barcelona, to Barca, cannot even finish 6 games without getting injured. But he's back now. Look how long he's played with for Aston Villa and haven't gotten injured. De Jong is better than Jorginho, but still no thanks. Tell me why you said no thanks. Explain. Every time we hype Man United transfers, it's gone quite well. Look at Mikel Pedro Morata went horribly wrong for us. Okay. I get the idea. So what's your lineup for next season? We will start working on it probably from tomorrow's Blue Morning Show. So if you haven't, again, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Again, like the video if you haven't, to help us reach more people. Right now we have 112 people, 12 likes. Thank you. That's not easy. Yeah, again, if you haven't, please like the video and do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Again, join us for the Blue Morning Show. We've started building the lineup already. I think we'll continue to build on it. We made it dynamic because the agreement was that as things develop in the market, as we follow the club's activities in the market, we see where to make changes. And I think we've seen enough to make changes in some places right now. But we get to that. As says, Pedro played well for us. Pedro was, you could argue he was good for us. And I think we'll let him go early, actually, if you ask me. The Young is age 25, while Jorginho is 30, and has an agent always flirting with Italian clubs. Again, I think Jorginho is planning to leave us on a free. I hope that's not the case. Jorginho is more like a Busquets. When he's in the game, you don't see his importance. As soon as he's injured, everyone is like, this game really needs Jorginho. I know you'll get a response from somebody, but that's simply the truth. I think Tuchel has made him important. I think everything comes down to how Tuchel uses him and how Tuchel prefers to play. So he's very pivotal to the way Tuchel likes the game to be played. That's why when he's not on the pitch, we suffer. What's your guys' opinion on what we should do with Broja? Don't be selfish about his future. Let him go if you know he's not gonna get enough game time, because there aren't shortage of buyers. Many clubs want him. So instead, we'll sell him at the buyback clause to the contract. So maybe under a different manager who'd make use of good use of a player like him, then we'll bring him back. Again, that's my opinion. I say yes, Milosevic-Savic is good. Also, watch Brozovic and Amrabat. These lads are in different teams in Italy. Again, I'll try. Nick Liu, the Young is bigger, stronger, and quicker than J5. He plays the forward similar to Cesc and does everything better. If you cannot see J5 is targeted for a reason, he's targeted for a reason indeed. That's no a coincidence. Kuchila, been following this channel since you had like 400 subscribers. That's why I'm commenting a lot and waiting for you to get at the top. I hope this year you reach at least 50K. Oh my goodness, that's a delicious comment. Thank you very much. It can happen, but I cannot do it alone. The channel will be able to reach there with the input, like such delicious input from you, and such important contributions from everybody. True Blue, Gunplay, and everybody. We will get there, and thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's a delicious comment right there for obvious reasons, and nobody will say otherwise. So I'm going to try to catch up again. Says Sergi is like Kovacic, but you could say more aggressive than Kovacic. I think it takes more risk than Kovacic. If you ask me, RSC is paid 150K per week, while SMS gets 78K and produces way better results. So we should actually go for him. So Kingslayer, that I agree. I think the salary we're paying some of these players is surprising. Jesus, Chomeni, and Rice have a similar build and stature in your opinion. Yep. Again, that's Chelsea offered Dembele less than half what he was getting from Barca. Oh, so why are we expecting to get him? It says, Gunplay said, Kachila, you should do the show daily. Don't worry, even if nobody joins the stream, I will be there to come in. Thank you very much. That is so sweet of you. I sincerely do appreciate that, Gunplay, and I hope to see you. I keep playing. I think Dembele on an appearance-based or incentive-based contract is worth the shot. But again, it's all business for everybody. The club, the player, he probably prefers staying at Barca if nobody comes for him and earns as much as he's been earning for a while. Again, it just makes sense. Ty says he has some shock news to share. I think we will round up to that. And I will skip quite a few comments here just to get to the bottom of everything. But I'm really disappointed with the Chelsea fans who wanted Kante to leave. I think Kante will come back stronger. I think he will. I think those that don't understand what player he is. Yeah, we must hijack Alessandro. I'm not into hijacking again. Hijacks doesn't work for us again.
No, Kante is a fine player. We need to jumpstart. We need to jumpstart.
Yeah,
in other places, man. No hijacking.
Yeah, we won the Champions League with that's not full of it, Kante. We won the Europa Cup with the half-fit Kante. That's how big of a player he is, and I think the club understands that. More importantly, he is an exemplary professional. Kuchila, you should look at Bremer. This guy is one of the most underrated CBs in the world, and he won the Serie A Defender of the Season. I think we've talked about him in a couple of shows. We heard the club that they're looking at him, but I don't know where they are with that now. The game of Madrid medical team has a bad reputation, and they rush players back too soon, especially if they paid big money for you. Where are you getting this fact from, Nick? Chama, if you tell them all go here, Chama, be careful what you say here. But I get your argument. Gunplay will link to Bremer, but Dub Kuchila can influence Sticker. Yeah, I get that. No, like you didn't know, right? Woodgate was signed by Madrid years ago. Once spoke about the weird method they use to rehabilitate him. They're not as advanced as England, or maybe just being quack intentionally just to get players playing. Basically, in Spain, they use methods which are considered to be outdated. I'm not surprised. Nico Schlotterbeck went to Dortmund. Schlotterbeck went to Dortmund on the cheap. We never take a point on the player just because he was at Freiburg and not a fashionable club. That's one big issue. That's a delicious comment. Chelsea only look at big names, and that's concerning to me. That's why you end up spending millions, and when we should. If we have a good scout, they should be able to find players where we don't have to spend all our money. The worst thing about prison was the Mentos. Okay. Again, I just had to read that. It's Kachila and the panel. Good night. See you tomorrow. Thank you very, very much. Great contributions from you, and I sincerely do appreciate that. What happened to Lucas Piazon was just a problem ingrained in the club. There are many other examples. Yep. Again, thank you very much. Good night, bro. Good night to you too. Again, let me read that again. Need to build a winning team to compete. All other teams have advanced methods. Yep. Thank you very much. And now I'm going to come to the panel for us to round up the show. Ty, before I go to Nick, your final thoughts on everything we talked about today and your advice to Chelsea fans who's been quite impatient.
Okay, now I want to quickly start off with the shocking news that I want to share. It's about Kante.
Yes. Sorry, I forgot.
It's about Kante. It's about Kante, and something that should be coming out soon is that Man United have been permitted to speak to him because he has delayed in some regard a contract extension with Chelsea, and as a result, he has been allowed to speak to other clubs should he not extend. Man United, who has a manager who has admired him for a couple of years now, not De Jong. What am I talking about? Not De Jong. Not De. What's his name? Ten Hag, man. Ten Hag has been allowed to speak to him, so news should be coming out soon, and he could be looked to be sold if all things go well with that meeting. But I do think that right now nothing is a certainty, and he could quite easily leave the club or he could end up staying. But he's been allowed to speak to them, and in the near future you should see that news coming out. Unfortunately, for some fans they will be upset about it, and some will say that they want Jorginho to leave. But this is the situation right now with Kante, and he's been allowed to speak to Man United, and that is as an option because they're trying to replace Matic in the team, and De Jong necessarily isn't a choice that they're really looking at to be that Matic replacement. So they're looking at Kante, who they're hoping can give them a couple of years. But with everything else that we discussed, it was a good show. It was hilarious, with some parts. Fans that are impatient, I understand they being impatient because it's not that we're not going to sign players. I think we will sign players. It's just about when we sign them and will they get enough time to experience pre-season with the manager. I think that is the concern, and I think that is where the impatience lies. But we will sign players. We will get players in that are good enough for Tuchel's system, or the players that he wants, that he thinks is good for the system. So that should be the case. But for the fans that are impatient, I understand why you are. But we need to be patient in terms of getting in players because due to Tuchel's system, the players that we need or the players that we want are players that could be difficult to really obtain in 2 days. Some need long negotiations because some are contracted for 2 years, 3 years. But I do believe that in the near future, we will see some additional news on signings. And next week I believe will be key as well in terms of who we sign. I think Sterling could be confirmed early next week, and it's good that we can at least have one player coming in who's willing to join, and potentially two who are desperate to come, and the Ligt makes that list as well.
Thank you very much, Ty, for that. You can say extensive conclusion, but it all makes sense, and I appreciate what the news you just told us about Kante. I hope he stays because we will miss him. He's come up big. He's a big game player, and in some cases, even when he underperforms, the bigger the occasions, the better the Kante you'd see. Nick, your thoughts on everything we've talked about today, and your advice to the Chelsea fans, so we can call it a day.
Yeah. Ty said a lot of things I was going to say, but yeah, Kante, we can't let him go. Doesn't matter to who, United or anywhere else. He's one of the best in the world. At his position, he's the best in the world. So look, Chelsea have to make sure he doesn't go. I know Tuchel loves him, and I'm sure Chelsea will do everything to keep him. I can't see him leaving our club. I'll be really gutted if he does, especially to United. God, Matthijs was a difference. We felt bad when Matthijs left as well because he was great for us. But Kante is going to be very bad if he does go. But I hope not. I'm sure Chelsea will give him the extension. He's not a greedy guy. I don't think so. So, I think they will come to an agreement. But, he wants to talk to United. Players talk to all the clubs. So, it's nothing unusual. Talk is talk. But let's see what happens. But, a good stream as always. A lot of points been made. But, we keep making the same points because we haven't actually signed anyone. We're hoping we get these players we want. Legit. Koulibaly, Kounde, Dembele, Raphinha, I think he's gone now. He's not coming to Chelsea. So, yeah. And Sterling's going to be done. He'll be the first announcement, I think. And, well, there's nothing much I can say. Nothing more, really. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you very much, Nick. I'm looking forward to launch of your Chelsea channel, the Real Chelsea channel. We're still working behind the scenes because they need to be trained. We're supposed to go do the training today, but he had connection issues. But I'm very committed, and there's no way for me to pay you back for how you supported this channel. All I can do.
The problem with him is where he is. He's in the very bad side of Africa. And they get a lot
I think
of
he will be fine. He will be fine, and I'll see how I can help.
He's a good guy, That's why I said I'll go with him. Because he's a nice guy. We talked a lot, me and him, with everything, not just football. So I'm very grateful for you trying to help. You know that. So
Again, that's the only way I can pay you back for how you supported the channel. Again, look at the panelists. It is Tytalk CFC. Nick, that's the Twitter handles. Go follow them. But go check out Tytalk's YouTube channel. His channel is ready. Nick's channel will be ready soon. And during the launch, I think we will talk about it on the panel here. And I'll drive traffic from this channel to his channel so you see the content they have. I think they have a few videos ready, but I think they're just that's test uploads. The channel is still being worked on branding wise and otherwise. But go check out Tytalk's CFC YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe. Great content, great individual, and again, he understands. He knows his stuff. And I will provide the link to both channels the moment the video is ready.
I'll keep saying it, Coach. For an 18-year-old, I'm amazed. The knowledge. He's unbelievable.
Yeah. And Adam here says one more question, bro. Sorry for this. Thought on the sign Piero and Kimpembe and a Ecuadorian centre back from Leverkusen. The name Leverkusen, I'll go research him, and I think we'll talk about him tomorrow during the evening show because he will always be the question and answer shows every evening. I'll try to maintain that. Again, I'll look at him, then we'll talk about him because I don't know much about him right now. Says no more 5 defenders at the back at Chelsea. Luis Garcia, you always talk about that. I'm not sure why you're spelling her name like that. Maybe a big deal with C. Ronaldo and Neymar together. I don't think that will happen. It was just a big waste of money, and you'll create you could say disharmony at the club. With that, we've come to the end of the show. And guys, I cannot thank you enough. I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat. Thank you to Orange Musketeers. Thank you to Arlo. Thank you to Luis Garcia. Thank you to all sports fan Adam. I appreciate you. Thank you to Choman Wanem Yosef. I appreciate you. Thank you to Gunplay for all the great inputs. Again, thank you to who again? Thank you to Arts. And thank you to Just Viola who was here. Thank you to True Blue. Thank you to Arts even again. If I miss your name, thank you to King Slayer. If I miss your name, my apologies. I'm only human. With that, I say see you guys tomorrow for the Blue Morning Show. God bless us all and cheers.